Hello, welcome to Ashes Without Number Session 12. This is after the end, Session 12. I am RxOliver, these are my friends, and yes, this is the amazing Ashes Without Number. Join us in the post-apocalypse. I'm here with Dave, Brian, and Brian, no Max tonight, so we are the three of us, but a different three. And we are ready to rock on with Session 12. I think because Brian missed the last one, we'll get if our Games Master is benevolent and kind, we'll get a short recap, will we?
Oh, yeah.
Superb. Then take it away, mate. It's all yours.
Okay. So, in our last session, well, Brian's not been here for a couple of sessions, so let me do a couple.
Was it 2, was it?
So, I think it was 2, yeah.
Okay.
So, in our last couple of sessions, it was decided that Craig, Tim, and Kang were going to go out and do some scouting and take a look around. During their scouting, and this is round about day 12-ish, they discover what looks to be a music store and a kind of ramshackle makeshift greenhouse or farm of some kind. If you want to look at the map, you can see roughly where those are, and the other players can ping them for you. I'm looking at my journal right now, so I can go through all this.
So the music store was here, and the farm was here.
Now, after discovering the music store and the farm, they returned to camp and decided that the group was gonna send out a team to look at them. One of the new members of the group, Craig, was particularly keen on checking out the music store, so they decided to head there first before heading on to check out the farm. Unfortunately, the music store was largely ruined through a combination of broken pipes and rot and just general wear on the building. The building itself is kind of in bad condition, although still standing, and a lot of the supplies, quote-unquote supplies, music, instruments and tools and things like that, and even instruments themselves were quite ruined. However, by the time they reached the music store, they decided to camp there overnight, so they did so. In the middle of the night, Craig actually heard coming through the vents, so potentially from beneath, the playing of a guitar. And it was strained and pained and seemed almost like someone who once knew how to play guitar, but was either in process of forgetting or is losing the ability. And after spending some minutes trying to play the guitar, imagine, Craig listening very closely to this vent. There was the discordant twang and crash of a guitar being busted and broken. Possibly out of frustration. Craig woke up Tim, told him what was going on, really wanted to go downstairs. I guess I should note at this point that the reason why they didn't just rush downstairs is that the stairwell to the basement in the music store was boarded over and looked as if something had been attempting to force its way out from the other side. So they actually reinforced that door with the support of Jacob, making some pretty significant crafting rolls. So, at any rate, Tim convinces Craig, look, we need to finish our job. We need to go on and check the farm, scout this hex, and scout the area and potentially another area next to it before returning. But Tim did promise that he would speak to Charlemagne, who Tim believes, I think, is the leader of the group. Don't know if everybody believes that, but Tim does. But he said he would speak to Charlemagne about returning to the music store to see what could be salvaged. Then they went on, scouted the area around the makeshift farm. the first day of scouting that area was pretty uneventful, but the evening of the second day, they got hit by a blizzard descending on the area, forcing the group into cover. It was quite bad, actually. And so they found, or unearthed isn't the right word, dug out of the snow a manhole cover and clambered down into the sewer with Fallout, who was with them, and closed the manhole cover and hunkered down next to each other for warmth in this frozen sewer, and that's where we ended last session. As of that time period, 20 days have passed, and there, not having been back to camp, there's an unknown number of days of food remaining. You were gone. We can get an estimate. You now have been gone for a total of 3 days.
So is it day 21 now, Brian?
No, technically it's day 20.
Day 20. Get up. Okay. In game terms,
yeah,
it's
20
day 20.
days have passed. Although it's still evening of day 20. You guys just clambered down into the sewer. So, how many people are still at base? There's 12 of you. 3 of you are out, so that means there's 9.
And we sent 2 groups out.
Well, yeah, and we'll get to that. We're going to do that first, now that I have the scavenging tables. But I do want to take away their food first. So you've been gone for now a total of 3 days. We generally eat in the evening, so now is a good time to do so. Did you guys consume rations last session before we ended? I don't think you did. Tim doesn't need to.
I don't believe that we did.
But I don't think that Jacob and Craig consumed anything.
Okay, so we better do that.
Yeah, go ahead and take off 2.
Okay, what have I got on me?
You guys have a decent amount, if I recall correctly.
Well, I'm carrying
I've got
5
3
lots
on
of
me.
I'm carrying 5 lots of non-perishable, but I've still got 3 spare capacity in my inventory. So, if you're close to your capacity, use some of yours. And,
I've got a bundle of 3, so.
Well, if you use 2, and then give me the other one, I can store it with the 2 that I've got.
Okay.
In one group.
Yeah.
Abigail, you don't take anything off your sheet. I'll remove the 3 from mine, and Tim, you add 1. So me and Abigail are eating the 2 from my sheet, and the other one's going on to Dave's sheet.
You and Jacob, but yes.
Me and
Jacob,
sorry,
Abigail.
because Abigail's not here. Yeah. So me and Jacob are going to eat 2 from my sheet, and the other one's going into Tim's sheet.
Sorry, was that non-perishable food?
Non-perishable.
Because I have some perishable food. Do you want to use that or not?
I would use the non-perishable first. Although their temperatures are freezing, it can go bad. Oh, no, I'm sorry. My mistake. I always get those backwards. Use perishable first. Save non-perishable for as long as you can.
Okay, I'll keep...
You keep your 2.
I've got 3.
Your 3, rather.
I'll keep a hold of them then.
I will take 2 perishable off my list.
Okay.
I might, for our next session, I might change that to like cans and fresh, just to make it easier, because I at least keep saying perishable, non-perishable.
Or preserved,
anyway,
preserved and fresh, because then you don't have to like narrow it down to cans.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, that's true.
It gives you a broader category.
So for camp, it's been 3 days. You have 1 person in camp. Oh, 2 people in camp that have iron stomach. Although to be fair,
Emma's character and Max's first character both have it.
Well, technically Sophia's character is an NPC now, so I think I'm going to remove that just for ease, to where I only have to worry about the PCs.
Yeah, because NPCs generally don't have perks or whatever.
You know what?
Whatever.
Even Kang's in NPC status right now, so it doesn't count for him.
Yeah,
so I'm just going to make it easy, go flat based on numbers. So you need a total of 27 spent from your base sheet. So we're going to make the perishable 0 because it was at 18, and then we're going to take away 9 from the non-perishable. Looks like somebody already took away 3.
Yeah, I did because I didn't have any on my character sheet.
That's fine. So
Yeah.
you, and then I'll just take away 9 more. So,
32
as
left.
far as you remember, your camp
3 days.
probably has about 32 rations left, about 3 days. Now, that being said, Brian also knew last time I decided I was going to make a scavenging table just for the camp based on the teams that you send out and the strength of those teams, as opposed to going through the full rules for them. And I have done so. So you've been gone for 3 days. You have sent out 2 teams of 3. Is that correct? With 1 person remaining in camp to keep watch and another person to...
Well, there's 9
work
people in
on-
camp, so there's a group of 3 in camp and 2 groups of 3 out.
Right. But 2 of the people in camp are also working on
2 working, 1
the
watching, yeah.
greenhouse. So we got 5 days of work on the greenhouse left. The first day, one of your teams did the dead drop.
That's right.
Which you'll learn about when you return to camp. So you only get 1 roll for the first day, and then 2 rolls each for the following 2 days. So, let me ask you, do you guys want to roll on these tables, or do you want me to just roll it?
My question is, are these tables in Foundry somewhere we can see them and I can display them?
There's a macro, and it will show up, and the roll table will show up in the chat window when we roll it.
Let me roll one then. What's the macro?
Okay, so if you go to your browse macro directory at the bottom and open that up, you see the little folder.
At the bottom, where? Browse macro.
So on
directory.
your taskbar across the bottom in Foundry.
Yeah.
So if you click on the little folder next to it says browse macro directory.
Yeah, got it. Macro hotbar. Yeah.
You can drag the Scavenging the Ruins over onto your hotbar.
Right,
and
where am I-
click on it.
Where am I dragging it from?
So
I
if
don't
you
see
click
it in
on
the macro
browse
directory.
macro directory.
Oh, actually click the folder to browse it. Right, yeah. And then
You should see Scavenging the Ruins.
I don't see any. There's no macros in
No,
the directory.
Yeah.
there's
Hang
no
on,
visible
hang on.
macros.
Hang on.
Here we go.
There
Now
it
there
is.
should be one.
So if I drag that down to number 1. Hey,
Yep.
check you out, Foundry. I love it. Alright, so I'm going to roll. So party size is 3, injuries is 0, and consecutive days 3. Is that right?
No, consecutive days is 0 because this is the first day.
Right, alright, okay, yeah. So that's to calculate for how many days we'll really be doing something. Okay, I'll roll this one then.
Yep.
You guys can roll 1 each, I guess, because we're doing 3 days. There we go. The party
Okay,
falls
so
in.
the party falls. Go ahead. You go ahead.
You sure? Right, okay.
Yeah, go.
The party falls into an old drainage tunnel. No major injuries, but they lose time. They return with mouldy bread, 4 units, perishable, and wire mesh, tech 1, scrap, 2 units. Cold exposure causes -1 to scavenging rolls for 2 days. Oh. Okay.
Okay,
Somebody
so
else can roll the next one. I've got no luck.
well, before we do that, let's add the stuff, right? So you add perishable food to the
4
auto repair shop.
4 units.
Mhm.
I'll get that. And it was tech level 1, 2 units. Got it. Okay, I've done those.
You got the 2 tech level ones.
Yep.
Dragged over.
I didn't even drag them over. I just did the up button.
Oh, that's
and the
right, because
counter.
we're doing the total there. Yeah. No, I forgot we were doing that. Okay, so that's roll number 1. Who wants to take day 2?
There's 2 separate parties on day 2. One of them's at -1, the other one's at flat, correct?
Correct. Yep.
In that case, I'll take the party that's at -1 for day
Should
2.
we be rolling for the
Fine.
second
Well,
part on day
why
1?
don't you just do both of them? Okay, so for the first party on day 2, it's going to be party size is 3. Did you add the party size, Oliver, to the first one?
I've
Yeah,
only
okay,
rolled
so
for one
party size
party
is
though.
3.
I've not rolled for the second one on that day.
Yeah. The second one, remember, they had to go to the dead drop. They couldn't
Oh
scavenge
yeah,
this
that's
day.
right. Yeah, so there's only one on the first day.
Yep.
Cool.
So day 2, the first party size should be 3. Injuries is 1, and I've got that set for 2 days.
And consecutive
And
days.
consecutive
and
days is 1. Go ahead if you want to read that out, Tim.
Go for it, Dave, if you want.
A small mutated animal is caught in the snow, providing fresh meat, 7 units of perishable, while a shattered radio tower yields scrap, copper and wiring, Tech 2 scrap, 9 units, and no injuries.
Very nice, David.
Great.
Nice.
I'll get that on the thing if we want then. So that's 7 units of perishable. Up to 11. And what was that? Tech level 2, 9 units.
Tech 2, 9 units.
Nice.
Yep.
Just doubled our tech level 2 scrap.
And the second party is...
Second party, it's size 3, 0 injuries, 0 consecutive days.
Because it's their first day.
Scavengers argue over a frozen supply crate, delaying the haul. They eventually retrieve some bags of dried rice, 9 units perishable, a metal pry bar, and part of a burned out drone. Tech 1 scrap, 6 units. No injuries, but morale dips.
Oh, hang on a second. 1, 2,
So,
3, 4, 5,
9
6, 7, 8,
units
9.
of perishable.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right, I've done it. Also, I was editing a mistake that I had made because I had previously added 9 tech level 1 and not tech level 2. So I fixed that as well.
Okay.
Okay, so that's
Okay.
day 2.
And last day will be Brian. If you want to roll, you have
Okay.
-1 injury on the first group, and they are also basically you're going to put in the numbers 3, 1, and 2 for the first roll.
3, 1.
Party size is 3, injuries is 1, consecutive days
Okay.
is 2.
The scavenger cuts their hand rummaging through a looted store. They manage to procure some boxes of dried crackers, 2 units perishable, and aluminum siding, Tech 1 scrap, 5 units.
Okay,
The cut causes -1 to scavenging rolls for 3 days.
I've added the stuff. That's the last day, though.
Okay. And for the second group, you're rolling 3, 0, 1. Oh, Jesus. Jackpot, boys.
Jackpot! A sealed
Nice one.
supermarket sub-basement opens up, revealing canned food. 52 units of non-perishable, medical grade materials, and a working solar battery pack. Tech 3 scrap, 6 units.
6
The
units.
the team returns unharmed and celebrated. Right, so that's 6 units of 3. Has anybody done it yet? I'll do it then.
No, I haven't done it.
That was up to 35. And was it 52 units of perishable
Yeah.
food? Of
Non-perishable.
non-perishable. So that goes up to 84. Oh, jackpot, boys. Well done, the team. Well
There we
done, the
go.
team. Nice roll, Brian. Very nice roll.
I like it.
Yeah, superb, mate.
So, okay, so that
Superb.
was 3, 0, 1. If you go on to day 4, of course, that's gonna, that's gonna keep going.
Yeah.
But we'll see. All right, so that's where your camp is at right now, and that
Excellent.
brings us back to all of you.
But we don't know that
So-
they've got that jackpot haul, so we're probably going to be thinking they're getting low on food, so we're probably going to be thinking about going back soon, I think.
I mean, it's up to you.
Depends what we find.
In the future, well, I'll ask you guys. I'm fine either way. Like, we can make rolls like that at the end if you want to when you're out for a few days so that you don't know.
Yeah.
Or would you
I'll-
rather do it day by day?
I like it that we don't know. That kind of makes sense. It's more
Okay.
immersive. I like that.
So then what I'll do for that immersion is then in the future, we'll track how many days you're gone. So starting from now,
And roll when we get
if you're
back.
still gone for a few more days, we'll do all those rolls when you get back.
Yeah. Because
Does that
we're only
sound
going to
good?
find out what they got when we got back anyway. It makes sense. I like it.
That's correct.
I like
Yeah,
it. I like
okay.
it, Brian. Yeah.
So we can definitely do that. All right. So you guys are in the sewer. It is
Oh, yeah.
evening. The blizzard is blowing above you. Do you want to light a fire down here? I mean, you do have cover because you're in a sewer. And it doesn't smell or anything because nothing has been flowing through these sewers for quite some time, and it is, it's all frozen down here.
I think we decided we weren't going to light a fire, didn't we, Dave? Because there's meant to be things down here.
The problem is we've been warned that there are things down below the streets.
And
if we
fire
light
would
a
attract
fire,
them.
smoke is going to go one way or the other. In fact, possibly both ways, and attract attention. We are
Maybe.
undercover. We can huddle together for warmth, because we effectively have got a very small area. We've got to worry about the temperature. And below ground, although yes, it's cold, it's
Not
you don't have
exposed to the snow
wind
the same, and
factor
the
that you
wind,
do
yeah.
above. Yeah.
Yeah, so it'd be cold, but it's not exposed to the wind, the rain, the snow.
Well, I'd
So,
suggest that anyway.
I think we
I mean,
don't do a fire.
Do I, as a survivalist, do I think that these non-survivalists will survive okay without a fire?
It's a fair question.
I mean, Craig the character probably thinks we should light a fire, but Oliver the player is wise and has played many of these games and knows that it's not wise to light a fire. So that's Oliver the player, not the character Craig that's saying let's not light a fire. That's me. Who's wise.
I think now that we talk about it, though, I think it was decided that you're not going to.
Yeah, I think we did.
Yeah.
So somebody is going to, whoever is going to stay awake during watch, but I already rolled for that encounter last session and you didn't have an encounter overnight. So I think we'll just jump ahead to the morning.
Okay.
You can see a bit of light from the manhole cover above you. You also see coming through the whatever kind of holes or there might be in the manhole cover to allow you to get a hold of it and open it. You can see that there are some icicles forming, and unless you're sleeping directly beneath the manhole cover, you aren't getting hit by it, but the warmth of the bodies below have caused a little bit of snow melt, and you see these icicles kind of coming down through the cracks in the manhole cover. Clearly it's been covered over. So it may take a little bit of effort to get out of the sewer this morning.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, in that case, I will climb up to the underside of the manhole cover and attempt to lever the top off.
Okay. So why don't you give me an exert test with strength? This is a one-person job because you can't all climb up and hang on to the ladder right there.
Strength, here we go.
Oh yes, Dave, you never roll bad.
Okay.
Never let us down.
So it takes a little bit of work, but yeah, you're able to kind of get it up enough to where you can maybe then also take a trusty knife that you have and just kind of chip at some of the snow around the edges until you can get it to the point where you can kind of push it up and off. The blizzard hit hard, but perhaps just through sheer luck, this particular portion of the street didn't get piled up with bunches of snow. Maybe because it's more central to the street, you definitely see much larger drifts along some of the ruins and the buildings to the side.
We got lucky.
Maybe there was a wind corridor blowing through, so luckily you didn't get buried alive.
It sounds like we got lucky, yeah.
But, yeah, you're with a little bit of work. It doesn't take too terribly long, maybe 15, 20 minutes or so. It's still plenty of time left in this particular shift. you're able to get back up onto street level.
I bet that 20 minutes felt a lot
Good.
longer when we were waiting on him doing it. We were standing down there waiting and thinking we can't get out unless he moves that. That 20 minutes would have felt like 3 hours.
Sure. So yeah, you all clamber up. Do you replace the manhole cover, or do you leave it uncovered just in case you need to find this access again?
Would you?
Replace it.
I would think put it back down. Yeah.
Okay. So, although you got hit with the blizzard, you did scout this area, so you do know where the makeshift farm is, if you would like to head in that direction.
Yes, we would.
I
Wouldn't we?
believe that's our intention, to scout
Okay.
the makeshift farm today.
So it is the first shift of the day. So it is bright outside. Again, there's still almost constant cloud cover. The snow is falling. But you will be able to find your way to the makeshift farm relatively quickly. As you're traveling, why don't the two active characters, Tim and Craig, why don't you give me some notice, intelligence, or wisdom checks?
Okay, I've rolled an 8.
I've rolled up
Yep.
6.
Okay. So Craig,
Craig is useless.
maybe not paying attention, maybe just miserable being out here overnight in a sewer, no fire. You're not immediately aware. But as you approach the makeshift farm, and you can see its bulk kind of through the snow, and it's starting to really clarify, and you can see it better. You don't notice, but Tim, you notice nearby at like what probably would have been like a bus stop shelter, you would imagine. Although this particularly bus stop shelter looks to have been somewhat reinforced. It looks like it might have even been at some point being used as an observation post. There's some corrugated metal that looks to be attached to it somehow. It looks like the roof, which may have been glass at some point, has been covered over with wood and metal to create kind of a platform. And you see someone standing on top of that platform, looking around, just kind of hand up to prevent the haze. Thankfully, Tim has already met this person, and it is Abigail standing on top of this ruined bit.
Okay.
So, Brian, you see these three people. Tim is really the only one you know well, because you've been out with him before. You recognize Craig, who you saved from the police substation in the hands of the creatures?
Aliens.
Tim likes to call them aliens.
Well, yes.
They were
It fits the
definitely
narrative.
aliens. I don't think we're in any doubt.
Oh yeah, they were aliens.
Oh yeah.
And Jacob, you recall... It's been a while since you've engaged with Jacob, but you recall that Jacob was one of the people that were being held by the children of the Father in that church. Man, was that only a couple of weeks ago? Yeah, it must have been.
Mm-hmm.
Your group has sure grown since then. But now, as it is technically the 21st day, the 23rd of February, you see them heading your way. And
Along with a canine friend of yours.
oh yeah, along with Fallout.
With Fallout the dog.
When
yeah.
you can see him, I mean, he is white, so he can be difficult to see sometimes moving through the snow. So yeah, I guess. Well, I'm guessing that you kind of made sure you said you drew some rations. Did you grab anything else for Abbott? Well, we don't have to go over that, but I'm assuming you grabbed things that you needed from the base before you headed out here.
Stuff, yeah.
You knew roughly where they were going and roughly what the timeline was. So I would imagine you probably just kind of made a beeline here last night. Maybe you, when the blizzard hit, you kind of took cover in this ramshackle little kind of guard tower. It's tough to call it a building, but it was at least enclosed. And yeah, so you can see him coming. What do you do?
Well, I shall draw the attention of the other two to the fact that Abigail's ahead and signal quietly to her and make the universal sign of...
What happened?
Sure.
Aye.
Okay.
So are you going to wait for them to come to you, or are you going to jump down from your little tower thing and head to them? It is rather open here.
I'll jump down and head to them.
So...
What's wrong, Abigail? Why out here? What happened? This can't be good.
Well, I shall just ask why Charlemagne sent her out. Where's the rest of her team?
He just sent me out by myself.
I look shocked.
Charlemagne's got a lot of trust in Abigail, I think.
Well, here's a question. Did Charlemagne even send her?
Now that's a good question.
What are you doing away? Why are you out here on your own, Abigail? It's dangerous. That's why we're in a group.
Well, that's why I was expecting you to be with a group. Going out by yourself.
I arrived out here for quite a while before I met everybody by myself, so
You were, and so
a
was
little bit of confidence in this.
so was I, and look where that got me. Locked up in a police cell. I haven't even committed a crime. It's dangerous on your own. What are you doing, mad woman?
Yes, I am a mad woman.
You sure are. What are you doing out here?
Looking for you guys.
Well, here we are. We're checking out this farm.
Yeah.
Have you seen anything towards the farm at all? If you've been here already a while? When did you come out?
Well, I spent the night in this place.
Oh,
Points to the shelter.
is it safe here?
You, for ease of moving the story forward, you have not yet had time to case the farm.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
You got to about this point where when the blizzard hit and you had to find cover.
Okay, so we will bring Abigail up to speed on what's happened with us, and we'll ask her to bring us up to speed on what's happened back at the auto repair shop.
So we can find out about the dead drop and all that food as well.
So what
The dead drop I don't actually have prepared yet.
Oh,
so
okay.
Okay.
Abigail is not going to discuss the dead drop.
She was in
with
the
you,
other group.
Although that
was the other group.
Yeah, maybe. That actually reminds me, though, with Abigail being active... Oh, yeah, okay. Her stress has dropped down because she's been inactive for a bit, so that's fine.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. Yeah, maybe, though, Abigail could tell you about the experiences of some of the teams, though, and so that's how you already know, like, what they were able to find, and there's a good deal amount of food there, at least for a time. You...
I look relieved.
That's good. That means we can stay.
For 106, that's maybe for 12 people, that's
For 8 days.
a week. A little
Yeah.
more than a week, yeah.
So we don't.
So-
We're not in such a rush to go home now that we know they've got that food there. We don't have to rush back. We can stay out here checking stuff out.
True.
Scouting.
What's worrying is that all the animals they apparently found were mutated.
What was
Oh,
it was
dear.
one. It was just one mutated animal. The rest was a bunch of canned food, wasn't it?
Yes.
And you saw the animal. We'll say it was you were on the team that actually found that for Abigail on day 2. You would say that mutated is maybe, you don't want to put too much stock in the word mutated, right? Like, don't think of like a Fallout mutated animal. Think of like mutated in terms of
right.
maybe
So,
some cancerous growths.
Adapted or slightly diseased.
A Chernobyl.
Yeah. But still,
animal.
edible, can cook it. It just, it's been affected by the 5 years of gamma radiation, UV radiation, which is nonstop. It's just not. It didn't look super healthy, but it was meat, and nobody seemed to get sick off of it, which is good.
It's Blinky the three-eyed fish.
Good.
And if you get that reference, you're fucking old like me.
Okay, in that
case,
it
wasn't like a rat with wings or anything like that.
Yeah.
In that case, unless anything is untoward at the makeshift farm, we're probably best scouting the northwesterly hex before returning to the auto repair shop.
Yeah.
So I
this one you mean,
folks? I suggest we head up to the makeshift farm and find out what's happening there.
Kill everybody there. Bang, 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 bang. Sounds like a great idea, Tim.
I
You could do
glare at
that.
Craig.
You could do that since you're here. I also wanted to point out, though, there's nothing stopping you from moving into that hex and beginning scouting that area as well if you don't want to tackle the farm right away.
Well,
No,
no,
but
that's
that's up
the
to you.
reason. That's the reason we were sent out by
It's
Charlotte.
the
That's
main
true.
reason we went out,
Yeah.
yeah. And plus
I'm
Abigail's here.
just offering options.
I feel safe when Abigail's here. I've seen I haven't heard about Abigail in action. No, Craig has heard stories about Abigail in action from the other guys at
And
camp.
you know that she was with the group that saved you.
She was with the group that saved me, and I've heard
Yeah.
stories about her badassery from the other guys.
Right.
Sophia never shuts up about it.
So, here's a question. Do you want to send Jacob back as a runner to tell everybody that we have heard that you are good on supplies, we're going to check out the farm, and then most likely scout the area northwest of us?
Depends, because if you do, you just have to write them back in next session when Max is back.
Easy to do.
Easy
Tim
to do?
is
Do it
not.
then.
Tim's not keen on sending Jacob back by himself. I mean, this is dangerous out here.
You can keep him with you.
Yeah. Craig would
That's
also
fine.
agree, actually, and Craig at the moment thinks Tim's his leader. Craig doesn't know that Abigail's actually the higher level character. To Craig, Tim's in charge at this point.
Okay.
Well, if Abigail was sent out by Charlemagne, was she sent out to take charge of the group?
Was she sent out by Charlemagne, Brian?
She is the highest level
Or did
character,
she just
Brian.
decide to go on her own?
It's your turn to be
You went
in
on her
charge.
own.
Oh, you're not taking your turn to be in charge. I've done mine. Dave's done
fair
his.
enough.
No?
In that
Okay.
case, if Charlemagne hasn't put her in charge, then
You're in charge,
I
Tim.
will welcome her to the group. I've expressed my doubts, but let's head on to the farm and see what's there.
Okay. So, the farm is... You're not quite sure when you scouted the area and spotted it, what made you think farm. Possibly it could be just the shape of it. It's difficult to say, but it's not. It's like I said when we first talked about it. It's not like the kind of farm you see in, open country. This is clearly something that was put together after the end. It is essentially a large warehouse that you would guess is either entirely open on the inside or has a couple of floors. And even calling it a warehouse is rough. So picture like one of those kind of, I don't know if you guys have all spent time like in rural areas, but in rural areas you can basically get these like steel buildings built to spec, And oftentimes what you see in a rural area is a large building that is kind of, it's not a dome, but it's rounded.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So this is kind of like that, but it's long. If you had to guess, take a look at it here real quick.
Something like a giant Nissen hut?
I'm not sure what a Nissen hut is, but maybe.
Basically, a Nissen hut is, if you think of a semicircle, it's kind of flat ends and semicircle, kind of corrugated steel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly like that. Yeah.
Traditional barn shape, like that, going long ways. Like a half circle going long ways with two flat sides. Or has it not even got the sides? Is it just the semicircle?
It's just kind of a semicircle, but then runs the full length, right?
Yeah, right.
It does have a flat front that you can see. You're assuming it has a flat rear. The front doesn't have any windows on it, but it does have two large sliding, it looks to be like they're sliding doors, one of which is slid partially open. These doors are essentially, imagine like a barn door.
Yeah.
Quite big.
I think in the States they called it a Quonset hut.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So imagine a Quonset hut, but it's like massive. So this thing is, I've got Foundry set to meters. This thing is roughly 60 meters long and about half of that wide. So it is quite big.
Right. So it's about 15 meters tall.
No, it's actually figure about double that, because it does come up kind of straight and then kind of slopes off. So it looks like it could have a second story on the inside, but you're not sure.
Okay, so it's not semicircular, it's more oval.
Sure, yeah.
Okay. So it's about 30 meters wide and 30 meters tall.
Yeah.
A big old building anyway.
So the sides
Yeah.
that you can see, the sides and the front look to be made out of some kind of steel, corrugated maybe. Looks like it may have been patched in a couple of places. Some rust here and there, but that has slowed down, maybe because of the freezing temperatures. But then once you get to what might be the higher up, so about 15 meters up, when it starts to dome, it looks like a combination of maybe a little bit of steel, but also maybe some plastic sheeting, maybe glass. It looks like this thing once had a clear roof, at least from what you can see. At this distance.
There could be growing food in there.
Is there any snow settled on the top of the curve?
So that's an interesting question. I would say there's probably a dusting up there. But
it's not flat on the at any point. It's curved the whole time, isn't it?
Curved the whole time.
Yeah, so it's not much would lie on it anyway.
There's
really.
some up there, but it looks like the combination of wind and maybe sun, whatever light there is, maybe possibly even heating up of the structure itself from within, who knows, has caused it to stay relatively clear.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so there's probably going to be larger drifts either side because the stuff that was falling on it would slide down. Okay?
Yep.
So given that, from a distance, can we make out whether there's any signs of tracks around the thing? Because the snow's going to be built up somewhat.
Yeah, so from a distance, I would say, as I noted, the large main doors are somewhat open. They're not shut completely. The main doors themselves are about, what is that, 6 meters? Yeah, no, sorry. The main doors themselves are about 3 to 4 meters wide. I'm just going to use feet to make it easy. They're about 10 feet wide. Big old barn doors. And it looks like they're open just a bit to let something through. something that could be man-sized, maybe a little bit bigger. It looks like they might be big enough to allow livestock to move through right now. But they're clearly open. It's not just a cavity. There are doors there that can be closed. They just happen to be open.
Does it look like there's a depression in the snow? Because if the doors are open, and with the blizzard last night, you probably have got snow blowing in, so it would be you get a depression around the opening with
like a furrow. Yeah, there is like a furrow that leads out from that opening. That could be a combination, like you say, of snow blowing in, but also possibly a well-used
people walking in and
path.
out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, but with the blizzard, that would have filled in on top of a path with fresh snow. So, are there any footprints in that furrow?
Oh, you're too far away to tell that. You're going to need to get quite a bit closer.
Okay, in that case, we will move closer.
Yeah, let's move closer, cautiously.
Hang on a second. Do you want me to scout ahead?
You're the survivalist, yes. You're the big brainy survivalist. Yeah, I trust you.
In that case, I will attempt to sneak quietly up to the place to have a look.
Before you head out... Okay, yeah, Jacob is not particularly sneaky, so ignore that. Is Abigail sneaky? Do you want to go with him?
Abigail's not.
Abigail's mildly sneaky.
Yeah.
I don't even know if Craig is. I don't think so. No.
I don't think Craig is sneaky, no.
He's got no sneak. Sneak's a skill,
Or does Tim just want to go by himself?
Well, if I sneak close enough to have a look for tracks and things.
Yeah.
I mean, if the others are in a position where they can observe what I'm doing, then they'll see if there's any signs of trouble. Okay?
True. So, do you want to... You're approaching from the front. Do you want to walk around the building to see if you see anything else? I mean, that'll take time, but... Or are you just focused on tracks?
Well, at the present moment, I want to have a look around the building to see if there's any tracks.
Okay.
There's two ends.
Oh, like
right. There might be doors at the other end as well, and those might be open. Who knows?
Okay.
So
give me a sneak roll with dexterity to see how well you manage to stay concealed as you do this, which is
a 9.
Fairly well. Okay, so roughly how far do you want to maintain a distance from this place as you make sure you check both ends?
I can probably see footprints in the fresh snow out to about 100. Is 100 feet too far? Would I have to be closer than that to see footprints in fresh snow?
Do you don't have like binoculars or any kind of visual device, do you?
No.
Yeah, I think you probably need to get.
Hang on. I've got a scoped crossbow.
Oh yeah, you do have a scoped crossbow. Yeah, so 100 feet is fine.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So either looking through the scope or pulling the scope off and doing like the movie thing and using a scope as a single binocular. Yeah, you can do that.
I'm sorry. Are you suggesting that I kind of reduce the effectiveness of my weapon in a potential?
You put it back on.
No, you just do that.
It just clips, right?
And then I have to sight it in again. No.
Fair.
I will just look through it on the crossbow. All right.
Sure. Okay.
Just to be on the safe side, I will remove the bolt from the crossbow so I don't fire it by accident.
Oh, okay, that's fine. So yeah. Oh, I should unpause this, by the way. There we go. I think you can probably fairly well see whether or not there are tracks. So we'll deal with that first. In the front end of the building, as I said, there's a bit of a furrow there to indicate constant, or, well, maybe not constant, but regular use. In addition to blizzard kind of blowing through, following the natural furrow, in the furrow itself, you see evidence of something passing through before it gets lost in the deeper snow further out. But because of the blizzard, what the tracks are difficult to say. Because they've been partially filled in.
Yeah, well, I'm just keeping close enough to see whether there are any fresh tracks post-blizzard.
So post-blizzard, no. But it does look like there were existing tracks that had been somewhat filled in.
That's fine. At the present moment, I'm just trying to check and see whether it's post-blizzard.
I gotcha.
Once we know that, we can go closer and have a look at actual tracks. So
Yep.
I will circle around the outside of the building, looking out for any signs of patrol tracks or anything like that, and then have a look at the far end of the building.
Yeah, and as you said, there definitely are a lot of drifts on either side of the building. It doesn't really look like there has been maintenance, so it's stacked up pretty high. Like in a couple of places, the drifts are probably over your head easily. But then circling around to the back.
Well, hang on. As I go down the side,
put my rifle in ready.
Then I can also look directly onto the clear panes further up. So you say there doesn't look as though there've been any maintenance. Do some of those panes look like they're no longer there? You know, if there was plastic, it's broken or torn, or glass broken.
So
that sort of thing.
Yes, that is correct. There are some broken panes. It looks like some torn plastic sheets. A lot of it is still in one piece, but you're guessing there's going to be a lot of snow inside the building as well.
Okay.
In certain places.
So it's going to be semi-shelter in there rather than real shelter.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Continue on to the ends.
So on the other end, you do see, and I should take a look at this to make sure that I'm describing it correctly. Where's that's what I want.
A working solar
farm? No. So on the back side, the flat side of this long kind of Quonset hut building, you do see a short, well, not short, I mean, goes up about 15 feet, or 15 meters stairway, that looks to be solid from the distance you're at. And at the top of the stairway is a small landing and a single person sized door.
Okay. Is the staircase covered in fresh snow?
Yes. But it is kind of a wire kind of metal construction, so a lot of the snow falls through. But yeah, there is snow there. No indication that anyone has used the staircase recently.
Okay. No other doors on this end?
Correct.
Okay. In that case, continue down the other side back to join my compatriots.
So as you round the back corner, you do see a bit of maybe the top of a doorway along the other long side, but there's a drift of snow up against it. You'd have to dig it out.
Okay. So there were no doors on the other long side, it's just this long side. Okay, fine.
Correct.
Continue along, keeping an eye out for tracks, and rejoin the others.
Okay. Yeah, no other indication of tracks that you can see. If there are people or other, livestock or anything in there, they're still in there since the blizzard.
Okay. I will bring them up to speed. There's obvious signs of something using the doors at this end. There's an access to the top floor at the far end, which looks unused since the blizzard. I'm tempted to suggest we go in there first, because then we'll be looking down at whatever's below. But open to suggestions.
No, I think that might be the safest way to do it.
Yeah. Be able to look down would be a lot better than looking up.
Because if there's somebody dangerous down there, and they see us and we need to get away, it's better to be up there than down there, I think.
Yeah, if this is a mutated cattle farm, yeah, I'd rather be up on the top story.
Yeah, because I don't think mutated cows are going to be able to climb steps in a hurry, or fast as we can anyway, so...
Okay, in that case, I will lead them at a distance where we won't be easily visible from the open doorway, around the side that I first went down, to the base of the steps at the far end.
Okay. And let me activate that. Alright, so we got Abigail, we got Craig, got Tim, and Jacob.
And Fallout.
And the dog, yeah.
There's Jacob and Fallout.
There is.
So this is the upper level, right? Starting with the door. The stairs are probably about right here or so. And, you know, it's kind of just a standard gantry type stairwell heading up to that door.
Okay, well, I will lead the way up to the door and then quietly try it to see whether it's open or locked.
It is locked.
I will attempt to open it. Which I
Okay,
believe
that'll
is
be
sneak.
Sneak with intelligence or dexterity. Yeah, you're able to foil that lock fairly easily and get the door open. The lock is, again, not having lock picks. You've probably busted the lock on it, but it is open.
Okay, and then step forward. Step forward onto the inside.
So yeah, as you open the door and look inside, you can see at this level what looks to be basically just catwalks, right? So actually, let me take all your characters real quick. That. Okay, so just inside the doorway, there's another stairwell of similar construction to the one outside, heading downward. And at the bottom of that stair, you see a doorway. And in fact, I can show you the overview of everything that you can see from up here. Oh, I gotta show it to you. So, there's the doorway at the bottom of the stairwell, and then you see another stairwell heading up to the catwalk on the other side. And as you kind of look down in the open space, what you see is rows and rows of planters. Some of them appear to have some growth in them. Whether or not it's still viable or growing is another question. There are a couple of large water storage kind of tanks, various barrels and other things, and it looks like there are some miniature silos here as well. Now, what you also see is here and there, there is snow that has fallen in and piled up in a couple of different locations. Not necessarily enough to make moving down there difficult. You would just move over it like you would any other snow. But there are a couple of bits of piles of snow here and there. You can also see another stairway up to the catwalks about halfway down on it would be your right, looking into the place towards the front doors, which are over here. But there are also several shapes moving down there. And because of the transparency of the ceiling, which is, as I said, in some places glass, and some places more opaque plastic, but still, allows light through, you do are able to make out kind of what you're seeing down there. So there are several large forms rooting around in some of the greenery there.
When you say large forms, do these look like cattle?
Have you zoomed in on the token? It kinda does a wee bit.
So here, I'll show you the character artwork. It's maybe not perfect representation, but yes, they look to be bovine in nature. And there is one.
It's the Brahmin.
That is not showing up correctly, so let me get rid of him and do this real quick. Yeah, he should be a bit bigger.
I'm glad we came in through the catwalk,
So am I.
the catwalk rather than the main door.
Yeah, me too.
Much safer.
Imagine getting charged by 4 or 5 carnivorous cows.
That looks like a very big one.
Has that one got a dick? Is that the bull?
It's definitely got something dangling underneath it that doesn't look like udders.
Yeah, that's the boy. That's the big boy with the big bull. Oh no.
Are those 5 foot squares?
That's a flesh-eating bull, boys.
Yes.
So that's about a 24-foot long. That's not a standard cow.
No, that's a big boy, and that thing's if it's
Yeah.
anything like what we.
No, he's
know-
he's only a little over 10 feet long.
Oof.
They're 5 foot squares.
Ooh.
Sorry, I was miscalculating.
So, if we know what we know about possibly cows, that thing's carnivorous. That's a dangerous animal. That's like
Well,
the size
you know
of a
that
hippo
they-
now. That's not a cow. That's a hippo.
You know that they
and it's
might
carnivorous.
be carnivorous.
It could be carnivorous.
You've seen
yeah.
evidence. Well, not even necessarily carnivorous, but omnivorous now.
Omnivorous, yeah. But it's
So because you can see the slightly smaller ones like rooting around.
thing is, even if
in
you get
the-
just charged by a normal bull, that's deadly. That's a killer attack, a bull charge. A big one that's the size of a hippo but has horns and wants to eat you, that's a different whole other ball game, isn't it?
I look down from the walkway. How far off the floor are we?
You're about 15 meters off the floor.
Oh, we're quite high up.
Right. Okay.
And these things are not getting up those stairways.
Yeah, for sure, eh? We could just snipe them from up here and take them for dinner, but I don't. We would have to kill them all, because if we only killed one and then tried to retrieve it, the other ones would get us. We would have to take them all out, and that's wasteful because we can't carry them all home.
So do these
I
look like...
I will also point out, hang on, before you do anything, I will also point out that throughout, not indicated on the map, but throughout, there are support structures for the catwalk that, if you had to guess, could potentially be taken out by any of these things.
By a
if they
raging
charge it.
bull. Aye.
That's why I was about to turn around and have a look and see what was holding the catwalk
What's
up.
holding us up? Yeah, what exactly is holding us up?
Well, by the look of it, to the north of us, the catwalk is actually supported by the structure underneath it.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
There does appear to be like a blocked off area just underneath you with a bit of roof there.
Yeah.
The roof is, if you had to guess just on sight of those, I mean, you don't know how they're partitioned right now, but offices, it looks to be like some kind of a light particle board.
Sorry, do these look natural, i.e. they are cattle that have adapted, or do they look unnatural in that they're the results of somebody experimenting or breeding or whatever? In other words, do they look like relatively normal cattle or not?
That's a good question. Why don't you... Oh, pardon me. Why don't you give me a survival roll for that? Or no. Anybody can roll no as well.
Would
with
that be
intelligence.
well, I have a no roll. I've no as skill.
I thought survive.
So I can certainly do. I can either do survive or no. Which is the most appropriate?
It's your choice, actually.
I just rolled survive intelligence.
You're just trying to understand, like, are these natural animals? Either one could work. Jeez, Craig with a 12. Tim with an 8. Craig with a 14, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So Abigail is not quite sure what she's looking at, but they look like cows.
Moo, Abigail, cow go moo.
It looks like a couple of different breeds of cow. Maybe, there might be an Angus down there. In fact, that bull might be Angus. His coat is black and very... It's got a pretty nice sheen on it. There's a couple of your standard kind of black and white spotted cows.
Imagine what we could do with the leather off that big fella.
Be a lot of leather.
Mm-hmm.
You do see, I don't really have tokens for them, but you do see kind of scattered throughout a couple of smaller forms. They might be calves.
Oh, okay.
Wandering around. And just a few. And then in this area over here, it's kind of obscured by these large kind of silo, or maybe they're water tanks. You're not quite sure until you engage with them. But it looks like there's something in the center of them that is...
moving.
Yeah.
I don't like the way you said that one bit.
Well, if we step to here, can we see? Or do we need to move around the catwalk to here?
Sure, if you want, you can possibly see it there. Again, there's light.
Well, we will have a we will move. Well, we just stepping slightly to the left
You're
through
brave.
the door. We should be able to see it.
You're brave.
Yeah, if you want to.
I will.
Okay. So Tim shifts to the left to take a closer look at what that is down there, and the first thing that pops into your head, as you are going to need to make a mental save for me, particularly Tim. In fact, I'm going to apply a -2 penalty because of who Tim is on that mental save. So you should get a pop-up when you click on mental save. Just put -2 in there.
Check him out.
Still succeeded. Nice.
Check him
There you
out.
go.
So, the first thing that pops into your head as you get a clear view on what is happening in between those things, those pylons, pillars, containers, whatever they happen to be, is an undulating mass of some kind. But the longer you look at it, it looks like a cow that is probably equally as large as this big one in the center, but it has udders but the udders have been split open. I shouldn't say udders, it has an udder, right, as in a female cow. But the udder has been split open, and there's just kind of this cavity, this open wound, and lying in front of it is what appears to be a squirming, kind of struggling calf that tries to stand up on one of its legs is kind of shorter than the other ones. This is a weird aberration of nature. Tim is certain. This is mutation run rampant in this case. This looks to be some kind of female cow. It's grown so large and bloated, and is now, even as you watch, another calf is struggling to force its way out of this wound in the center of its mass.
It's a queen cow.
Yep.
And it's like as if the calf, which is another generation born from a mutated cow, is more mutated because it's the next generation. So it kind of feels like to me, like it's only gonna get worse.
I'm going to... This is not natural. I'm going to tell the others we need to destroy these.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say that. I thought you were just going to pull a gun out and do it, to be fair. No, I support your decision. That's a monstrosity. That cannot be comfortable. It cannot be having a good life. That's got to be a miserable existence for that thing. I'm right behind you.
Okay, well,
now,
I sorry.
While Tim is looking at the strange, indescribable mama cow there, which also is kind of it looks like it's immobile. It looks like its body has adapted to just become like a womb for these.
It's the mother.
calves.
It's the mother from What's Eating Gilbert Grape.
I actually haven't seen that.
Oh, have you not? It's a great movie.
But,
you need to see it.
Okay. But yeah, so you don't think you're going to have to worry about it coming to get you. It looks like it has one function, and it is fulfilling that function currently. But as far as the other cows and calves around, the calves, you would guess, some of the calves that you're looking at, they look fine. I mean, they don't appear, other than the ones that are just now coming out of this thing.
Tim.
And you do note that the other cows in there, picture aside, because I wanted to go with an evocative picture, they look maybe a little bit larger than what you would expect of cattle, but they don't look particularly mutated. For them, it could be more adaptation to the situation. So, I'm not trying to tell you what to do one way or the other, but
the question
they
is,
are dangerous.
The calves that are coming out, are they all the same pattern? Because you described these as being different breeds.
Yes. So the ones coming out of this, as you put it, queen cow, they appear similar to each other and to her. And as we're speaking and as you're taking in this scene, the second one just kind of slithers and slides out onto this slicked mass in front of this thing.
The only way to really stop it
is stand.
The only way to really stop it is kill the bull, Dave. Stop them breeding. That's the real way to stop this, I think. Is kill the bull.
Well, we need to kill the queen cow and the bull.
Yeah, but I think if
the other
kill a queen cow,
and then the calves, which are the same coloration.
If we don't kill the bull, he'll just make another queen, won't he? He'll get her pregnant. This will happen to her. There's another one. We need to kill the bull.
Oh, that's a really good supposition. You don't know if it's accurate, but it could be.
Well, how else did she get like that and the other one just didn't?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I mean, I love it. You're thinking farther ahead than I am.
I think killing the bull is the priority.
I think the aliens came and did an experiment.
Ooh, see, that you won't be able to tell unless you take a closer look at these things.
Well, I suggest we line up and all of us shoot at the bull to begin with.
Yeah, so do I. Line up headshots. Try to line up headshots.
Okay, so you guys are staying up on the catwalk?
Wait a second, Dave, you know the anatomy better. Is a headshot not going to do that much because of how thick its skull is? Should we be going for the neck instead? Should we be going for the jugular?
Shoot to kill it. I mean, it's take the shots you can. It's not going to cooperate.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so...
Let's put the wheel down.
1 second, I'm changing from scoped crossbow to a rifle.
Get the rifle out.
Ah, okay.
We don't have any dynamite or napalm, do we?
I don't think so. What's everybody else got for ranged weapons?
I've got a rifle.
I got my shotgun.
Imagine the damage you could all do with dynamite.
I wouldn't mind just
let me
killing all these things,
see.
to be honest. Like,
Let me see what Jacob has. I think he just has a bow. Yeah, he's got his primitive bow, which he's not awful with, but yeah.
In that case, I'll lend him the scoped crossbow. Why not?
so the 4Rs can shoot.
Him being an NPC, I think we'll just stick with his bow for now.
Yeah.
Just to
Okay,
make it
fine.
simpler for me, rather than having to shuffle everything around. Although, this would be a good time to load things if you don't have loaded weapons.
Yeah. Also, we're getting near halftime, so try and decide when a good time for halftime would be, Brian.
Do we want to do that before we get into attacking this thing?
Before we get
Or
into
do we want to have
combat.
a first volley and then take a break after its reaction?
No, I think take the break and then we'll get into it. Should we do that? Have our halftime break now?
Yeah.
That's fine.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Okay.
And we're back.
All right, so you have all lined up, and you're going to start things by shooting at this monstrous bull in the center of the cavernous warehouse. It is in the open,
I
so
just
there
had a
won't be any
thought.
penalties to you doing so. Yeah.
I just had a thought, and I don't know why I didn't think of this sooner. I'm going to shoot it in the PP. That'll stop it breathing. Screw the jugular or the skull. We shoot it in the gonads.
So, I mean, this isn't initiative yet, so you guys can kind of act in the order that you want to.
I
am going to put your characters in this scene.
Are we going to fire in range, boys? 3, 2, 1, and I'll go. Like it's an execution. You're being executed for crimes against humanity and being a monstrosity.
Well, do you want to line up where your characters are?
Yep.
Keeping in mind that the catwalk is only 1 square wide.
Correct.
I can't move Jacob.
Oh, I can. Okay, so, again, being on the catwalk this close to the wall, you're probably relatively okay. Even if it hits like a support structure, like it'll still be connected to the wall itself. That said, you're also a pretty significant distance from this guy, so I'm going to apply a -1 penalty to all of your attacks from that distance for now.
Oh, do I need
We'll
to do a
see if
thing
that
to make my
changes.
weapon loaded? Is there a thing I need to do?
What do you got?
A rifle.
What does it say on your sheet?
It says it's loaded. It's already loaded. I'm good.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, it's fully loaded.
Okay. So whoever wants to take a shot first. Shall I do Jacob first, I guess, since he's the kind of the NPC?
Are we not going to roll 3, 2, 1, roll, and all go at the same time?
Well, just go down from the top. Abigail, Tim, Craig, and Jacob. Just go down the list of players.
Yeah. That's fine. We can do that. So, Abigail, why don't you go ahead and take a shot at this bull, or whatever you want to shoot at. I mean, you don't have to follow their rules. Oh, you get a shotgun. That's not going to work at that distance.
You're on mute, Ryan.
Yeah, I was on mute.
If you have if you have a shotgun, then that's too far for it. I can give you the scoped crossbow.
Or I could just move around.
No, stay here.
Yeah, there's
Keep
nothing
the
preventing you from going down there either.
No, not going down.
There's those mad
move
carnivorous
around.
bullies stopping me from going down there. I don't know about him, but that's what's stopping me.
The only problem with moving around is that you might draw their attention and get him moving. At the present moment, he's just standing there or moving slowly.
Well, I could sneak over there. That is a possibility.
Okay, try that then.
Yeah, I want to sneak around to like about here.
Sorry, to where?
Like here, somewhere in here.
Okay, yeah, go ahead and move. Trying to put together a quick overlay for you.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
I'm
see
trying not to do.
That's the dog.
Okay, doggy, go back. Yeah, save up there. Then I can get a good line on him and definitely get a line on what's in here.
Ugh. The body horror in this game has been A1, absolutely perfect.
Oh yeah,
It's been great. I love a good bit of body horror.
Okay, well, you're fine on the periphery there. I don't know why I can't put another line in there. Why it's just making me move that box now. Here, let's try free write. Maybe that will work. Nope, still stuck on the box. It's fine. So you know where the perimeter is.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
good with that for now. All right, so so at that, well, first of all, you can definitely see the
see the
weird
monstrosity.
mama cow now. So I think I'm gonna have you make a mental save. No -2 for you because there's no.
Doesn't give a shit
No
about the
problem
animals
with
like
that.
that.
Oh, actually, I shouldn't have even had Tim roll because he's
Cold-blooded.
cold-blooded.
I was going to mention that.
Still, it was fun.
Oh, I'm okay.
Ooh, that's disgusting.
Okay, so yeah, Abigail is gonna take 1 point of stress from seeing this really weird creature that used to be a cow.
1 point of stress. Okay.
And I mean, from where you're at right now, you don't really have a beat on it with the shotgun. You need to move to about here to be able to get that shot off.
You know what? I'm going to go for the thing down here.
Yes.
Put it out.
Okay.
Good plan, Brian. Fucking get rid of that thing. I'm gonna go for the bull. I'm gonna go for it. I am gonna go for its gonads. Like, I really think that's the plan. Like, 'cause that way, even if we don't kill it, we've killed the breeding.
Right. Yeah, so go ahead and take your shot at the this weird thing that you've just suddenly come into sight of.
Got those dice. Ho ho!
Okay.
Ho ho! Yeah! Ho ho! Ho ho! Brian!
So no traumatic hit on it, sadly. But definitely
Look at the damage
Hit
it would
it.
have been.
for 11 points of damage.
Nice, Abigail.
So this thing,
Queen Zeno cow.
this thing, like, you're shooting it from behind, right? With 11 points of damage, I'm gonna go ahead and say, and with the upper stage, I'm gonna say you hit it somewhere like kind of back of head, neck, maybe upper back, because this thing was kind of like up. Imagine a cow. I know they don't do this naturally, but imagine a cow like sitting down
up,
and
yeah.
having it just, yeah.
Yeah.
So, You definitely
thing's
hit
not
it in a
normal.
weak spot, but it's not enough to kill it outright. So this thing just lows, right, like a cow. Just the imagine like a moo that a cow would do, just a long mournful moo. But imagine it reverberating a little bit deeper and it being kind of wet and gurgly. And that noise just kind of echoes through the somewhat cavernous space of this this warehouse.
That noise will haunt my dreams
And
tonight, Brian. That was
the rest of you can see all the other cows raise their heads from where they're trying to graze and look in the direction of, we'll call it the mother.
Well, they might also be looking in the direction of the bull, because simultaneously with Abigail shooting the mother,
I'm shooting
Yep.
the other three of us are shooting the putative
Yeah.
father.
Well, and there was just a loud shotgun blast as well, I should point out. So
Yeah.
we're looking in that direction.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's. All of these attacks are essentially going off at the same time. So yeah, let's have Tim make a shot next with his rifle at the bull this time. I assume, unless you're changing targets.
Oh no, definitely. I said kill the bull.
Yep. Okay, so a 12. Your shot fires, and you can see, because it is pretty bright in here, especially as the sun continues to rise in the morning. You can see your bullet like hit one of its horns and chip off a chunk of horn, but you don't see blood, and you don't register really anything from the bull aside from it whipping its head around and looking in the direction that you fired from.
Shit.
Because again, your rifle is not silenced. So, that is... well, you know what? You guys are attacking from surprise. Maybe I should have given you a bonus to hit.
I think so.
Yeah. I should have given you a bonus to hit. So I'm going to add 2 to your attack roll retroactively, which is enough to hit it. And Jacob and Craig will also get +2 to hit when you make your roll. Make sure and add that bonus. So 11 points of damage. Your shot hits the bull in the head. And much as, Oliver said, I don't know if Craig said it out loud either, but you can see it penetrate, but you also see it kind of penetrate and dig a furrow through its possibly already kind of straining skin, because it does appear to be quite large. Maybe its skin is kind of getting taut. And you see this blood kind of begin to flow from the scalp wound as part of its horn gets blown off as well. So it is a significant hit, but it is not enough to take the bull down. No. Yes. So, let's see, that should be that. And that brings us to Oliver.
I am aiming for his balls, by the way.
Okay.
I'm serious, because even if we don't kill him,
yeah.
this shot, even if it's not fatal, could be fatal to his breeding career.
I gotcha.
You just want to hear him bellow in soprano.
Did you say a +2 on it?
Yeah, you get a +2 to hit.
Can I do burst fire with this rifle?
Well, I don't think so. You're not carrying a combat rifle, are you?
There's a burst fire tick button on the thing, just, I was wondering.
That's always there.
Ah, right, okay.
But
no,
I don't think Craig is carrying a combat rifle.
No, just a rifle.
Yeah.
Come on. Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Nice one.
That was with the +2, though, wasn't it?
That was with the +2.
Man, that's too bad. Oh, no. Yeah, okay. That's the damage. So you actually do manage to hit it in its groin.
Yeah.
Which is what you were aiming at. So you hit the trauma target, beat it by 1, in fact. So you're doing traumatic damage, which means you've just done 30 points of damage to this bull.
There's nothing left of it.
and it howl isn't the correct word. Again, it's a low, like a bull kind of deep. Oh, I'm not going to do it, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Sounds really pained, and your rifle shot just kind of causes like an exit wound in the area of its groin that just kind of rips its lower groin area apart, and you see this thing just fall over with a thud, and snow and dust get kicked up as it dies.
Yes. What a shot. Right in the moneymaker.
Dramatic hits, man. They'll do it
Oh, yeah.
every time.
Oh yeah.
30 points of damage. Okay, so that brings us to Jacob. Jacob really doesn't know what to do because the bull's dead, obviously.
But you did
so
say we were all
he's-
shooting at the same time, so he probably still shoots at the bull, doesn't
Yep,
he?
Yeah,
you
that's true.
should still be shooting because we were doing.
You're
a
right.
simultaneous shot.
You
Yeah.
were doing it simultaneous. That's fair. So he looses his arrow at this bull. Let's see if he even hits.
Right in its urethra.
It's +2. And his arrow kind of flies high and skitters off the ground further away. We'll see if he can recover it at the end. Yeah, so that is that. So now we'll go into actual rounds. Just in case. I'll put everybody in combat. And oh, this is where we get to rolling dice. So
Didn't we have someone take a
Somebody
perk or
did
a
it.
focus or something that gives us an improved initiative?
Yeah, that's
I think
me.
it did.
Yeah.
Oh, Abigail has it too.
Yeah, I think Max's character just took it last session, didn't he?
Yeah, I have alert.
Abigail rolled a bit too early. You got to give me 1 second to get the combatant set up. So create
Hey.
group from token. Join Abigail. Okay, now, as far as initiative, the bull would have rolled for everybody, and he rolled horribly. So, first actual round of combat, you guys have an 11, so you are first. So we'll start again with Abigail. This time I'll go based on the encounter chart, unless you can technically take actions in whatever order you want, but unless somebody says something, we'll go with Abigail first.
I'm going for another shot on this monstrosity.
On the mother? Okay.
On the
You
mother.
are definitely close enough.
Let's put it out.
And no bonus this time. We're just straight.
Yeah,
Yep,
surprising.
well, I mean, yeah, it's straight, but like her armor class is low anyway because she's not moving. So
Ooh, look at that.
still not hitting the trauma target, but you
No.
do manage to deal 11 points of damage. Again, pretty significant. You get another one of those kind of gurgling, weirdly resonant lows from the queen cattle, but it still appears to be alive. All right, Craig is next, unless somebody else wants to go.
I'll go next then, that's fine, yeah. If I saw that the bull died, and I see Abigail over there shooting at that thing, and that thing isn't dying, I'm going over to have a shot at it.
Okay, well, go ahead and give me a mental save when you look at the monstrosity that you see below you.
Shit, yeah, I forgot about that. Mental save, let's go. Oh, come on.
Yeah, you're good. Okay.
Right, I'm going to shoot that motherfucker now. No bonus this time, right?
No bonus, but again, pretty low armor class.
Ooh, that's tasty.
Yep. Oh, and that hits the trauma target for 21
Yeah.
points of damage. So, you fire your shot directly into the back of its skull, like right at least in a human, where you would imagine that kind of cusp of skull to spine is.
Yeah.
Pretty similar in a lot of mammals.
Yeah.
So intentionally or not, Craig manages to pinpoint that. And as you fire your shot, you can, I mean, let's go into kind of movie mode for a second. You can also almost imagine like an X-ray of the bullet passing the skull, but shattering the spine.
Yeah.
And the force of the blow makes the head drop forward, and you can see this just massive wound with the spine still sticking up and the head just kind of slumped forward. It would be very easy to fully decapitate this thing. You just need to remove the rest of the muscle and tendon around, but you can see that you've blown open its spine.
Beautiful.
And it stops making noise and stops moving, but you can still see something squirming in its stomach.
Oh, it's still got a baby in that wound. Ugh. That's disgusting, Brian. I love it. Somebody kill the baby, please.
Okay. So, technically, Fallout would be next. Fallout looks... Ooh, hang on.
No, stay boy. Don't go down there.
Fallout looks like he wants to run downstairs.
No.
You guys telling him no?
Yeah, we're telling him no. He's not running down there. No touch chance.
So
Stay
he
boy.
heads towards the stairs, but
Stay boy.
I guess either Tim is
tell-
still there,
I will-
or will you
I will-
stop him?
I will tell him guard, and kind of point at the top of the stairs.
Okay.
I'm
make-
moving. Sorry, make what?
Make a this isn't costing your action, but make a survival test for me to successfully command him.
On what? Charisma?
It's your choice. Charisma, wisdom, intelligence. You work with animals, whichever bonus is best for you.
None of them have got a bonus.
You could even use strength
Okay.
on an animal handling, I suppose, to intimidate it, couldn't you?
No.
I don't think Tim would do that.
No, I'm saying you could though. Like we're talking
You
about
could,
which roles
potentially,
you could
yeah.
do that. You could use
If
strength.
you were cruel, yes.
Depending on how you do it, yeah.
Talking hypotheticals.
Okay,
Nice
so
roll, David.
he stops, and you can see him kind of looking down below and just kind of like trembling. But yeah, he will stop and stay where he is. You get the sense he's going to guard the stairwell. So yeah, that'll bring us to Jacob. Technically, is next. He's not quite sure what to do, so he's going to move over here. And since nobody's told him not to, take a shot at that cattle that's looking kind of in everyone's direction. Except he's going to need to reload. Does he have shoot 1? He doesn't. So his action is actually to reload.
Okay, I shall move to a point where I can look down the line of the warehouse and see the opening in the far door, and take a bead on one of the calves coloured the same as the ones that have come out of it.
Okay. So all of the calves that are kind of already up and wandering around, they don't look like it. Only the 2 calves that have recently, as you watched, kind of slid out of this monstrosity and are still kind of in that general area finding their footing, they're the only 2 that look like it does. So
Lying in a pile of mutant placenta and shit.
I'm sorry. I can't believe that it's just started birthing calves while we're here. So
its coat, from what you can tell, and the coat of the calves that are directly kind of in front of it in that area is those mutated calves would be right about here, is brown. the calves that you can see wandering around, and there's only a couple. There's one calf we'll say one calf kind of close to 3 of the cattle, not the bull, right? So there's a calf over here, and there's a calf over here, and there's a calf over here. And they look like the cattle that they're next to. And you can see by how they're acting that they are, they're basically following their mothers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. In that
and
case...
from what you can see, they just look like calves.
Yeah, and they're not suffering. They're not so mutated that they're suffering to live. We don't need to
Nope.
put those ones down.
Okay, in that case, I'm changing over to my scoped crossbow and getting to a position where I can shoot the mutant calves.
Okay.
So
yeah, I mean, if you move a little bit further down by Jacob, you could probably shoot him from there. Yep.
okay, so this round I'm
'cause
changing
they're
back
like-
to my scope crossbow.
They're like there,
So did you have it readied, or are you?
No,
are
no,
you having? Okay,
no,
gotcha.
I'm changing my rifle for my scoped crossbow, and then
Okay,
I will
yeah.
have to load a bolt in as well, won't I?
Because you don't have shoot 1, yes, you'll need to use an action to load a bolt. You have to have shoot level 1 to be able to load a bolt as a move action on a crossbow.
No,
or
I've
bow.
got shoot, but it's just basic
0.
shoot.
Yeah.
0, same.
Yep.
I think after this session, after what I've done with the gun after this session, I'm going to be improving my shoot next time I level up.
Oh, okay. All right, so you're in position. You've swapped out your weapons, and you will load your scoped crossbow on the next round. That brings us to the cattle. Okay, so, I think in seeing the bull die and hearing the gurgling, death throes of the mother, these cattle. If I can select them, are you going to let me move my own tokens? Thank you.
They're going to run away.
These
aren't
cattle start running.
they? Yeah, I thought they might. We're going to get a chance to butcher that bull, but I don't think we should eat the meat. I think we should take the leather, though.
So they get kind of slowed up here at the door. One is already out. Another one is closely following it. And that is their round.
That's fine. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I don't have any proof they're mutated. They may have adapted, but not necessarily mutated. I don't know what the story is.
Right.
Probably those bleeding aliens again with the mother cow.
So if you want to just let the cattle and their calves go, we can call that done, because you've killed the bull, you've killed the weird mutated mother.
Certainly
Well,
want to put these little calves that are really
We'll
mutated
kill.
out of them,
We will kill the mutated.
Well, I'll let that
calves
just
as
happen.
well.
Okay.
Fine.
So
They're
you
not-
take your
they're
time
not
to kill the
moving,
mutated
so,
calves. In process of killing those mutated calves, a third one kind of slithers and slides out of this dead
Of course it
mother's
does.
womb.
Of course it does.
And you can kill it quite easily as well. But no others follow it out.
Okay. Are all 3 of those mutated calves the same mutation or different mutations or what?
So they all share similar coloring. As far as mutations, if you go down, let me take us out of combat music here. So, assuming you're going to go down to investigate,
Yes.
is that correct?
Yeah, I think so. Once
Yep.
the rest of them ran away, yeah.
Okay. So you can go ahead and move your tokens down there to wherever you want to be with regards to like I said, the calves are right about here if you want to head over there to take a look at them. Taking a closer look at the calves, they do appear mutated, but it's difficult to say how just yet because they're still calves. As I mentioned in the first description, one of them seems to be one of its forelegs is shorter and less defined than the others, but they don't all share that same mutation. Taking some time, you find other cosmetic mutations from a cursory look at these calves. You do also note while you're taking a look at them, assuming you're choosing to do so, that their teeth are sharper than you would expect.
So they're more carnivorous than
They're
herbivorous.
They're mutated to carnivorous, yeah.
Are the teeth on the bull similar sharpness?
So if you go over and take a look at the bull, no, the bull's teeth are blunt, as you would expect from a bull. But in looking at his teeth and his mouth, and in fact his horns, you see indications of consuming flesh and using the horns as weapons. You can see dried blood and other fluids that have dried into the horns to make them kind of a discolored brownish black at the tips.
Right.
Craig kind of wants the horn to make a musical instrument out of.
You take one if you want.
I'm not sure you'll get much of a good musical instrument out of it. Drinking horn, maybe. Okay, well, as far as that is concerned, we will see whether Fallout thinks that the bull's meat is edible.
Yeah, good. Well,
because Fallout is a good animals are a good guide as to whether they think something is edible or not.
But nah, not a dog, 'cause a dog's a scavenger, remember. Dogs can eat boosty meat. Dogs can eat rotted meat and be okay. Dogs have got iron stomachs. You can't trust a dog.
They do.
Dogs eat shit.
They do, but I like the idea, so I mean, we can go with it. Okay. I'm not going to say one way or the other if it's accurate, but if you want to...
Dogs think it's okay to eat their own shit. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, but by the same token, like, I think there are indications in nature of dogs not eating things that are poisonous.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not eating things that...
Dogs can sniff out cancer. Absolutely.
Right. So, yeah, if you want to do that, I mean, what are you going to cut off a bit of it or gut it and take some of the offal and see if Fallout will take it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, as a hunter, I know how to deal with carcasses. We've got we can probably hang this up and drain its blood out, etc. I mean, the amount of meat there that could be smoked.
It's a lot.
Is a hell of a lot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Can I suggest? Do any of us are any of us any good with mechanical things? Because
Jacob,
can we close the doors on the far end?
I think Jacob has some mechanical skill. I think he took fix when he leveled up, didn't he?
He has cursory mechanical skills, but yeah, I mean, if you want to go down and check the doors, it does look as if they will close.
Is there a bar or something to seal it up, or like a bolt goes into the concrete floor, or normally with a barn
inside,
door? Yeah, with a barn door it'd be a concrete floor, and you would have a bolt going into a floor, wouldn't you?
Potentially, but yeah, you can assume there's a way to bar it from the inside.
Well, I suggest we close those doors and bar them to prevent the cattle getting back in here. I mean, when you said that some of this stuff was growing, is it food crop type that's just gone wild,
or is it just weeds?
What? So it is. As you look around, first of all, tell me. Well, I know roughly what some of you are looking at. What is everybody looking at? Let's do different roles for this. So first we want to check on the bull. Let me handle that first. So you cut some offal, or maybe maybe you cut out its tongue. I don't know. Whatever you don't want to consume personally, and you give it to Fallout, right?
Yep.
So Fallout sniffs at it, kind of noses it, and then looks up at Tim specifically, and you get the sense that he's asking for permission.
Oh. Yeah.
So yeah, he starts to eat it, and he seems to have no qualms consuming the bull.
Such a good dog.
You're muted, Tim.
Sorry.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, I said good dog and dinner.
Okay.
He's a good boy. He's a good boy, Fallout.
Okay, so we've got the doors shut. The bull is edible. Whatever that cow and calves were, that needs destroying, burning, whatever. But
Okay.
as far as the inside is concerned, I would suggest we have a look in the offices first, because there may be some indication there as to who did this and what they were growing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So can we have a search of the office area?
Sure. So this first door is unlocked, and as you enter, this appears to be to have been used as like a living space. There's indication of maybe it was once an office, maybe there's some desks kind of pushed over to one side, but there's very clearly like a cook fire location set up with a very rudimentary like flue that kind of goes up to the particle board roof, and then you would imagine if they're cooking something, the smoke would just go out through some of the cracks in the roof. Indications of older kind of bedrolls, sleeping bags, things like that. So this is definitely like after the end. How long it's been abandoned would be impossible to say, but there's no indication of people here. There's no, I mean, apart from maybe a few odds and ends, it doesn't look like there's any. Oh, that's
Habitation.
weird. Why did I do that? I'll fix that later. But so there's no indication that anybody died here. It's just it looks like it's been abandoned, right? So that's kind of the main room.
So it's just effectively rubbish that's left here. It's not a case of
basically
they've left their belongings here. Okay.
No,
well, we'll have a look. We'll have a look in the other in the 4 rooms around.
Okay.
Does the top left room actually have a door into it from this area, or do
you there should be
from the outside? Yeah.
No, there should be a door there.
Okay.
Say it's right here, if I can make it. Come on. There we go. We'll say it's right there.
That's fine. Okay. Well, we'll check each of those rooms and see if the outside door's locked.
So, yeah, I'll just take those one at a time then. So this room is looks to be like a storeroom. There are shelves here. They're empty. Doesn't appear to be anything. I mean, you'd have to do a deeper search if you wanted to, and I'm sure you'll get to that. But cursory glance, nothing stands out at you. This room appears to have been like maybe a private sleeping room, possibly for a leader or a married couple. There's only an indication of maybe 2 people residing in this room. This used to be a bathroom, and it looks like they converted it to continue to be a bathroom. There is a bucket in the corner that was probably used and then emptied quite regularly. And there's also the remnants, not functioning currently, but the remnants of a gravity shower where they would store water in a bag up above and then use the bag to take a shower. And then this room, probably the most interesting as you go in, appears to have been a seed vault.
Oh.
And if you spend some time in here, you might be able to recover some seeds.
Oh, yes.
Who's the agriculture expert back in the car repair shop?
I don't know if we have an agricultural expert. I know that doing a greenhouse was Charlemagne's idea, because Oliver can take credit for it. It was Charlemagne's idea, but I don't think he has particularly a green thumb. I don't think we have a particular green thumb.
Yeah, there's somebody who's specifically a specialist, but I mean, there are people with higher no skills that could make use of those quite well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely going to be a benefit to you. So that'll be one of your scavenging spends if you want to recover some viable seeds.
Yes.
Now,
definitely.
do you want to kind of go over the rest of the warehouse? That's going to take you into easily midday if you want to do that.
I think we should.
Well, let's have
go
a
through
talk
everything.
because,
Okay.
I mean, do we think that this could be brought back into full operation as a
Farm.
proper greenhouse?
As a farm, possibly, yeah. Looks like it's only not functional because it's been abandoned. I think if you use these planters properly, I think it's getting the right light. I think this could be used.
Because if so, then we need to offer this to the group as a possible resource. Well, I do we want to go and search and scout another hex, or go straight back to the repair shop tomorrow?
I think we should still scout a hex on the way home.
Yeah, scout the other hex.
Okay. Well, I would suggest we stay. I mean, scouting hex effectively takes us 2 days, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I would suggest we spend the rest of the day here, searching this place, finding out what resources are available, getting the bodies of the mother cow and the 3 calves out and dumping them outside. And I'm quite happy to try butchering the bull and smoking some of the meat, because there's a lot of rations there.
I think if we can find the tools to do that, I think we should bury the bodies rather than burn them. I think burning them is going to cause some very, very pungent smelling smoke that might attract unwanted attention. I think we should bury them.
Fair enough. But all you can do at the moment is bury them in the snow.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of digging. It's going to be a lot of work for somebody.
Yep.
But I think we should bury them.
If you're going to stay here for the rest of the night, then, do you want to kind of give all the planters a once over and kind of look in some of the water and the crates and everything?
Definitely.
Okay.
Right. Well, I would suggest that we, if I concentrate on getting the meat from this thing into usable rations, and the rest of them search the place and scavenge and see what's around.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we'll do the mid-afternoon shift with Tim focusing on the bull, everybody else looking around. So Tim, why don't you give me a survive with intelligence, wisdom, dexterity? I mean, you're butchering, so that could work. Okay, so it's been a while since you've had to butcher an animal.
Yep.
It's coming back to you as you get near the end, but maybe if you don't say it,
I've wasted a fair bit of it.
Yeah, maybe if you don't say it out loud to everybody else, you know in your heart, like, I could have done better. That being said, though, you do still recover quite a bit. So why don't you go ahead and roll 4d6 for me?
Ooh.
So you have 13 units. How you spend those is going to be up to you. You can either get perishable rations, essentially, meat, or you can get tech level 0 scrap, so leather, bone, that kind of thing.
Well, Craig was talking about leather and bone, so I'd say probably 4 units of tech level 0 scrap and 9 units of food. Is that okay?
Yeah. Now keep in mind the way that's going to break down weight wise is scrap units always take up 1 encumbrance space, no matter what tech level they are. So that's 4. If any, hopefully you guys have the room for that. And then the 9 perishable food, you can use some of it while you guys are here, but those bundle into 3 for 1. So
we definitely should take some tech level 0 materials because the horn is.
Well, we're going to use 3 units of perishable food tonight anyway for the party. Correct?
4.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're 4 people.
4?
Jacob's
no,
here.
3. Tim doesn't need it.
Oh, Tim doesn't need it.
Has a focus that allows him
Yeah.
to always manage to find enough food and water for himself, where he doesn't actually have to use rations.
Okay. So we end up with another 6 perishable food and
Right.
4 TL0. Okay?
Yep.
Well, we can store the TL0 stuff here and carry the food
can.
back.
If you need to, yeah, I mean, there's always that possibility as well. Or, keep in mind, becoming over-encumbered doesn't mean you can't move. This isn't a video game. It just means that, you'll move a bit slower.
I'm already over-encumbered.
Now,
as soon as I've got the rifle equipped, I'm over-encumbered.
Right. So you move a bit slower in combat, essentially. But you can always drop, you can bundle up all of the tech level 0 stuff, and then if you get into a hairy situation, you just drop it and do what you need to do. But I'll let you guys decide how you want to handle that. So you've got 4 TL0, 6 perishable. Now, as far as Abigail and Greg, what are you guys looking at?
I'm looking at these planters.
Okay. And Craig?
Hold on 2 seconds. I'm writing that down. It was 4 TL0.
TL0.
And 9 perishable.
Well, 6. You're going to use 3
6.
tonight,
And
so
6.
6.
Well, I've added 2 to mine so far. How do I add another another perishable food block?
So you should be able to go into the equipment items and just scroll down to non-perishable and drag it to your sheet.
Thank you.
If it's, yeah. And then you can open that on your sheet and adjust how many are bundled. Because it should pull over as just 1, but then you can increase it to 3.
Where do you pull them over from?
So, under items, equipment, and then items.
Mhm.
And just to make sure that everybody has access,
Found it.
everybody should have access to the equipment tab
Yeah.
currently.
So I'll take another bundle of 3 then.
Well, I think Tim just took 2 of them. I think
I've taken all the perishable.
Oh, you've took it all. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to swap my rifle back out for my knife now that we're not in combat, so that I'm no longer.
I've taken 1
encumbered.
TL0 scrap.
Okay.
Okay. So there's still 3 TL0 scrap that needs to be accounted for when you decide to move on. Now, that being said...
I can take those. I've got enough space in my stove to take those.
Okay. Well, go ahead and take them then.
So what was it? TL0 scrap?
TL0 scrap. It doesn't bundle. It's just, it takes up a slot.
Need to drag them 3 times.
Yep.
Okay. Done.
Okay.
That's me completely
now,
full
real
ready
quick,
down stowed.
make sure that you've adjusted your totals of your ammo. If you haven't done
so I need to do that as well.
And then I'm going to make a luck save for Jacob to see if he can recover his arrow. He only fired 1.
Hey.
He can. So
Hey, there we
he
go.
has 20 arrows.
Okay, I'm going to reload my rifle with the additional round and reduce my rifle rounds to 11. Okay.
Yeah, I've done that. I'm now completely full. I'm not over encumbered, but I'm full on readied and full on stowed.
Yeah. Okay, so all that aside, if Abigail is going through all of the plants and stuff, what is Craig looking at specifically?
Same thing. No, I'll check out what's in these water towers or silos or whatever these round things are, actually. That's what I'm going to check out.
Okay, so a couple of things then. Going through the silos, or let's do the plants first. So as Abigail goes through the rows looking at all these various plants, it does appear that some of them are growing. Some are essentially just husks. But it does appear that some are growing. And
Okay.
unless I don't know if Abigail is particularly skilled in knowledge.
No.
Not really. But you're not dumb. You have an average intelligence. You see green on some of these. It's maybe a bit muted, but definitely green. You're not a botanist, but you think maybe some of these plants have adapted to growing in cold weather. Maybe it's the radiation that has altered them, or maybe they were already pretty hardy kind of root vegetables. It's difficult to say if you pull them up. But you feel like if you took some time here, you could probably recover both some perishable food and some seeds that might grow. Now, as far as Craig looking at the silos, two of them you just kind of knock on the side. They're empty.
Mm-hmm.
They may have held grain at some point, possibly. In fact, I would guess, if you kind of looked around, like whatever opening, or they don't really have a spigot or anything, but you can see signs of some kind of grain. The back two, though, interestingly enough, this one, you knock on the side and it sounds solid.
Oh.
And it has like a spigot, like a little nozzle.
Like a nozzle, like a tap.
Yeah, and there's basically a thin, like, icicle coming down out of it. You're assuming it's probably full of water.
Yeah, so I'll taste the icicle, see if it tastes like water.
It tastes fine, yeah.
I think we've got water.
Now this
full
one,
of water.
You knock on it, and it sounds like there's fluid in there. And as you take a look at the nozzle or the spigot, you get close. Boy, that smells a lot like gas.
Oh.
Oh.
Like, as in liquid petroleum gas, as in could be used for heating and things.
When you say gas, do you mean gasoline?
Gasoline.
Yeah, you
like
mean
petroleum.
gasoline.
Yeah.
You don't mean like
Petrol.
You don't mean like gas
LNG.
like you burn on a stove. You mean like LP, yeah.
No, like
liquid
gasoline,
petroleum
yeah.
gasoline, yeah, LPG.
Yeah, gasoline.
LPG, what's what we would call it. LPG,
Now,
liquid
it's
petroleum gasoline.
after 5 years, it's probably at like the edge of its viability because
Unusable.
gasoline does go bad,
Yeah, it does.
but it does take some time. Depends on how well sealed this container is as well, but you can smell it. So it means the seal, it's maybe not as sealed as it could be, but also it still smells pretty viable to you.
I take one deep, strong, big, massive inhale.
Oh yeah, you get a little bit of a buzz from
That's the
that,
first
for
buzz
sure.
he's had in years. He's loving life. Loving life. So he just lies there.
So you're not sure how full this is, but you tap as high as you can reach, and it still sounds fluidy.
Oh wow.
And this thing is maybe 15 meters tall. I mean, like you could easily hop on top of these from the catwalk.
Oh wow. This has got a lot of gasoline in it.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very, very, very valuable find. Probably even more so than the water.
Difficult to move around though.
Very much so. We should take some back. We should find that container, see if the tap works, get some out and take it back with us and show the guys
So
what
there-
we found.
Why?
There are essentially some jerry cans around.
To show
Why do
Charlemagne
we need
what
to
we
take
found.
some back?
It's a good question though.
Why do we need to take some back, Craig?
Just to show Charlemagne what we found.
Why do we need to show him? We tell him we found
Just
a
tell him.
tank with gasoline in. It's roughly this size. We haven't opened the seal, so hopefully it's as it was. if you open the seal, then you're going to let air in to affect it, aren't you?
Okay. I don't understand how
Yeah.
this science stuff.
I will say there are two, if just kind of glancing around, you can see two jerry cans kind of off to the side up against the wall here that you could fill up one, if you wanted to. But also, it's unlikely this is going anywhere. It's been here for 5 years.
True.
You know
Yeah.
where it is now. Yeah. So, big old silo of gas.
Good job we didn't get any like critical fumbles when we were shooting in that area, eh? Imagine. Boom, game over. Roll your
Especially
characters.
from a shotgun.
Yeah.
Yes, well, you were the closest to it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I personally think that we tell Charlemagne about this place, and we get people who know about agriculture from the group, to come over and
Yeah.
search this place. And either we move the
Oh.
greenhouse here and develop this place, because there's a hell of a lot more space in here than the greenhouse that's being built at the auto repair
Or we
shop,
take some seeds back.
or we take the seeds back. But I think that is a minus.
You could take some seeds back with you right now. Like the
See-
seed vault, you could probably do a scavenge in there. And
I
find some
don't
seeds.
think we need to do a grow food in one
Okay.
place or the other. I think it's viable to have both, because then if we lose one, we've got a backup.
Yeah.
Right, but I think we'd need to leave people here to look
Yeah.
after the
Guarding
place,
it.
to prevent
Yeah,
other
yeah.
people coming in and looting it.
True. Or we trap it. Set
I don't know that
traps.
you're quite large enough for that yet as a group
Yeah.
to split up.
But certainly, I'd hesitate to kind of pull the plants from here. If we found plants that
If they're growing
think
here.
have adapted.
Yeah. They may have adapted in particular to this soil that's in these planters over the 5 years, and as soon as you put them in some other soil, they're fucked. Again, I'm
We
not
don't know.
honest. I don't know how
We
these
don't
things
know.
work.
Yeah, difficult to say.
Yeah.
So that being
Animals
said,
are-
that was
Yeah, sorry.
sorry, that was the midday shift. For the evening shift, somebody needs to sleep so they can keep watch overnight.
Okay, well, we'll take watches.
If you're going to
overnight.
keep watch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we are going to keep watch.
Yep.
So who's going to
So-
sleep during the evening shift?
Well, I'd suggest 2 of us stay on watch and 2 sleep, and we have 1 guard by the door at the by the single door on the catwalk, and 1 guard
Yeah,
by
that
the
is-
door
yeah.
here. The door outside is sorry. The single door on the north wall, looking at the map, is A, locked, and B, has snow built up outside it, correct?
It's
Correct. Yep.
buried.
Okay, it's buried. So, in other words, we just need 1 sentry on the catwalk by the single door, and 1 sentry at the other end by the double doors. Okay? If anybody can get in through the windows, they'll have quite a drop down to the catwalk,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay,
So
we'll do that.
with that setup, nobody really has time to really do anything else. So yeah, we'll call that evening. Let me do a quick roll to see if anything happens overnight. It does not. So yeah, you switch off in the middle of the night. We move into February 24th. So that is day 5 gone.
This is day 22 now, yeah? For us.
Yes. What did I just write there? Yep. Okay. So, it is the morning of the 24th. You, whoever slept last is very well rested. Whoever kept watch, I mean, you're still pretty well rested. You just spent the morning hours keeping an eye on those doors. What's the plan? What do you want to do now?
You're muted, Dave.
Sorry, I suggest we leave the double doors locked. We go out through the single door and jerry rig something just to hold it shut, and then we head northwest to scout that hex on the way back to the auto
On the
repair
way
shop.
back, yeah.
Okay. Let us do that then.
Okay.
Head
So, I guess just heading back to the map. Activate that. Okay. Need to move my calendar someplace else because it's in the way. All right. So I have already deducted the appropriate food from the repair shop.
And we will also keep a very close eye out for angry cows.
Okay.
Good point.
There are some out there right now. Okay,
Oh,
so moving.
Well, I mean, at the present moment, we've left the corpse of the mother cow and the 3 calves in the place.
Oh, okay.
It's cold. Well, we didn't really have a chance to drag it out and bury it, did we?
Yeah, that's fair. No.
So, for the time being, we'll leave it there. It's cold enough that they will just freeze, yes?
To be fair, the 4 of us probably couldn't even drag it the way.
Probably, yeah.
Okay, so it's unlikely to go off. We may have to chop it up into bits to drag it out and bury it eventually, but I don't think we want to take the time and effort to try and bury it with just the 4 of us.
And we don't have shovels and stuff here. We don't have the tools.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'd have to be well tooled
So-
up, proper tools to even attempt to bury something that size. It's not just
One thing I did forget to do. So you described what you were doing, and you found like the plants and the fuel, which I had already set there. But what I would like to do, because I do still want to give you guys this for every location that you explore, all 3 of you can make a survival. You know what? Let's make it different, because survival is better for some people and not for others. Just in terms of general scavenging, let's have everybody make a luck roll.
Ooh. A luck save, yeah?
Luck save, yeah. While you were looking around that place or keeping watch overnight.
14.
So Craig succeeds. Abigail succeeds.
I thought I'd rolled it, but nothing happened. Let's try again.
Sometimes if too many people roll at the same time, it gets confused.
Unlucky.
I failed.
Fail for Tim. So, for Craig and Abigail, you can find either some rations, some scrap, or an item that might make sense. No, I'm not going to give Craig a guitar on this.
I would like an item that might make sense, because we've done well for scrap and for food recently. So let's have an item.
Okay.
Let's have an item, I think.
Okay, so what do you think would make sense for a refugee camp that left something behind, or like a makeshift farm?
I think we're definitely going to find a good tool. Could I go so far as to say a chainsaw?
Yeah, I'll allow a chainsaw.
There we go. I'll find a chainsaw.
Doesn't have any fuel, but you find a chainsaw.
I've got a big massive tank of fuel here.
Do you want to open that up and siphon some into the chainsaw?
Well, if we found the chainsaw, I think it is now worth taking a couple of jerry cans full of fuel.
Yeah.
Don't you think, Tim?
Have we got any 2-stroke?
Now, putting 2-stroke into a 4-stroke engine will not like kill it instantly, and if in a pinch you have to do that, don't you?
Well, I'm
So
not
just-
sure. What does that chainsaw run on?
I don't know the difference between a 4-stroke
Just to
and a
make
2-stroke engine.
just to make it simple for the fact of the game that we're playing, just like ammo is kind of the same, like rifle ammo is
Okay.
rifle ammo.
Gasoline
fuel
is
fuel.
gasoline. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Brian.
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
So,
I think I
you
am gonna
can-
fill up the jerry cans then.
You can fuel. Okay, those are gonna be heavy though. The jerry cans are gonna be 2 encumbrance units each.
I don't have any room to carry
To
anything
carry.
actually. That's a
The
problem.
chainsaw is gonna be 2.
Yeah. Ooh. Okay. Does anybody else have
Well,
carry
So I mean,
space?
you can leave it here for now, and you know that it's here.
Well,
No.
we can leave 2. You can leave 2 tech level 0 scrap here and take the chainsaw.
You can do
Yeah.
that too.
Yeah. That's what I'll do.
Yeah.
So you're gonna fill up the chainsaw, which is negligible to the total supply, and you're gonna leave your 2 TL
I'm leaving
scrap
2 TL,
left
1
behind.
scraps, and taking a chainsaw.
Can we make a note on the farm somewhere that there's 2 TL0 scrap stored in one of the
Yeah,
rooms?
I'm doing it. I got it.
Thank you.
Okay, so chainsaw.
I
fueled.
warn Craig that a chainsaw is not a very good melee weapon.
I was thinking more of it as a tool.
Really? I think chainsaws are great melee weapon.
It depends who you're
So
fighting.
if you want to use it as a melee weapon, I will stat it up. If you want to use it as a tool, that's fine too.
I'm going to be using it as a tool, Brian, but you better believe you're going to start that thing up just in case.
Okay, I'll stat it up.
100%. 100%.
Just in case.
That's sucking her up.
Start that right up, baby.
Okay.
It's Evil Dead time.
Yeah. Okay,
I
so
was thinking more
what?
Warhammer 40k, but hey,
Oh yeah.
Right.
both work.
No, it's not a chainsword. How about Abigail? Food, scrap, or something that makes sense for the environment?
I'm thinking something that makes sense.
Okay.
Come on, baling wire. That's the traditional thing that you have around farms. You fix everything with
Baling wire,
Baling
yeah.
wire.
Yeah.
I electrocuted myself with baling wire once.
A large coil of baling wire, though, is going to be heavy.
Yeah, that's going to be a pain to carry.
Yeah. You probably want to find something man portable, not tractor portable.
Quad bike.
I'm thinking actually a set of farming tools, like the hand tools you would use for a small garden.
So a hoe, a
Okay,
rake,
so
a
gardening
shovel,
tools.
a spade, a rake, a hoe, those ones.
Yeah.
Prunes, snippers.
But small or like full sized?
Well, I don't think with the planters in here, I don't think they would be full size.
Probably
They'd be
not,
more the
because
small
the
ones.
planters are all kind of chest height.
So you're talking the hand version rather than the...
Yeah, the hand version, not
Yeah.
the big.
Yep. So basically a small hand gardening tool set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll run you probably 2 encumbrance to carry.
Okay, I got 3 left, so I can carry it.
Okay. I will step that up in between games. So you guys got all that covered. Cool. All right, now back to today. So you move into the next hex to the northwest. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So as a part of your morning shift, you move into the hex, you start scouting. Get an encounter check. All right. So you move into the area that, moving away from the kind of open, almost park-like area that you were in near the makeshift farm. The city becomes dense once more, although there is a bit of an open field that you cross through. And as you begin to travel in this hex, you sense that, things are pretty okay. You know from what you remember of looking at the map. I think you guys have a map back at base.
We do.
Yeah.
You know that you're not quite past the hospital yet, so you're not terribly concerned there. The weather seems to be holding pretty well, and you spend the morning kind of looking through things, checking things out, looking for standing buildings and whatnot. Moving into the afternoon. Again, the snow continues to fall and everything seems pretty quiet. You do, in a couple of places, see some tracks for probably small game. No indication of larger bovine hooves, though.
Oh, what a relief.
But they're tracking us. I know they are.
That would be really funny if they were tracking you.
I'm sorry. This is after the end. This is not the far side.
Do not give
Right.
the Game Splaster any more creepy ideas. He's got enough of his own.
So, yeah, you spend the rest of the day, or at least the rest of the day that you feel comfortable doing so, just kind of looking over the place. And somebody's going to need to find a suitable camp for the evening. So I'm going to need a survival test from somebody.
That's your job.
Intelligence, wisdom.
I will assist Abigail in looking.
Okay.
Abigail is a survivor, yes?
Well, I have survived.
Yes, but what's your overall bonus?
You don't
using
have it as a trait or
intelligence?
anything.
0.
Right. Well, I have +2 on my survive, so why don't
Yeah,
you
so I'll
assist
assist
me?
you.
So let's have Abigail roll.
I'll play a nice song on the harmonica.
Okay. Oh yeah, I forgot
this
you
is
have a
using
harmonica.
which?
I need to make that.
I have half a dozen harmonicas. Thank you very much.
Intelligence or wisdom? You have 8.
8, yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, I guess it doesn't really matter. But here we go. Oh, Jesus. I was robbed on
Okay,
both of
so
them.
no bonus to Tim. Tim can go ahead and make the roll now.
Ooh,
Oh dear.
Oh, boy.
not so good.
So you don't find any place super secure, but you do find essentially a burned out building that still has a couple of walls that you can kind of use in lee of the wind. So you are able to set up a camp, but it's maybe not as pleasant. Similar to last evening, 2 people awake, 2 people sleeping. Is that what you want to
Yep,
do?
we'll do it that way. We've got enough
Okay.
food that we don't need to worry about going hunting or anything like that, so we'll have 2 and 2.
Yeah, we need to eat a day's food, don't we? Oh.
Hang on, shall I knock off 3 perishable food from my
Yeah.
heap?
Yeah. Something's happening in
Yes.
this land.
Yeah, because you're going to need to eat.
We got to go.
Boy, random encounters. Gotta love them. Okay, so being unfortunately that you were exposed. Actually, let's get. So who's watching when? Jacob's gonna be with
First watch.
somebody.
I'd say that Charlemagne takes the first watch because he's not. Sorry, Craig.
Craig.
Craig takes the first watch because he's a musician, so he's used to like staying up late and then getting up late in the morning. So falling
Okay,
asleep
with
early.
Jacob or Abigail?
Whatever. Falling asleep
Or
early
Tim.
is difficult for me, so I will take the first
Who else
shift
wants to
and
go
then sleep
first
later.
watch?
Quick question, how do I get rid of an item off the list?
So is it in your readied?
There's a bin button.
No, it's in stowed. It was 3 perishable, I reduced it down to 1. How do I get rid of it altogether?
There's a bin button, is there not?
You
Ah,
should
there's
just
a
be
bin.
able to.
My
Yep.
apologies, there is a bin button. Yep, sorted. Okay, well...
So who's on first watch with Craig? Abigail, Tim, or Jacob?
Well, if I go on watch with Craig and Abigail with Jacob
Yep.
on
okay.
second watch.
Okay.
Yeah, that works.
So in that case, then, I would like between the 2 of you, Abigail and Tim, one of you is going to make a luck save, or wait, no, who's with Jacob? Tim is.
Yeah, Craig and Abigail are on
Right.
the first watch. Tim and Jacob
Craig and
are
Abigail.
sleeping. Yeah.
So between Craig and
Tim.
Abigail.
Sorry, Craig and Tim are on the first watch.
Yeah.
Abigail
Craig
and Jacob
Tim
are
on first
sleeping.
watch. Correct.
Okay, Okay.
Sorry.
So, between Abigail and Tim, one of you
Craig
needs
and
to
Tim.
make. Sorry,
Craig
between
and
Craig and Tim,
Yeah.
one of you needs to make a luck save. You pick.
Mine's 12 plus.
Mine is, I think, better than, no worse than that. Mine's just 13 plus. Yeah, 13 plus. You do it.
And then Abigail needs to make one as well.
No.
Wait a second. Oh no, I'm thinking of Charlemagne. I'm thinking about my traits.
Yeah, you're thinking of Charlemagne.
Yeah,
You wouldn't want to use that ability on this anyway. This is just to
No.
see which watch it happens during. Okay, so this will happen during Tim and Craig's watch, which is second watch. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. No, first. We were on the first watch.
They were first.
We were the first
watch. Okay, so
Yeah.
this will happen on first watch. All right, so Abigail and Jacob are sleeping, and given that you are out of doors, largely, the wind is howling. Thankfully, you've found a couple of walls standing at least to use as some shelter. Did you light a fire?
I think we'd have to
I think we
because
would.
Yeah, you're in the open.
we're in the open. We have to have a fire.
So the fire is warm, and thankfully, the walls that you found appear to be either cinder block or concrete on some level, so they are reflecting the heat quite nicely in your little tight corner that you're in. So you're not in danger of death or anything like that, which is good. But it's certainly not comfortable. Tim and Craig might be consuming their meal, or what's left of it, or maybe they're just sitting there. I don't know. What are you guys doing around a campfire at night while you're on watch?
When I'm not in conversation with Tim, I am writing. I've got a bit of paper and a notepad, and I'm writing song lyrics all the time. He's a songwriter, and he's writing about the shooting a bull in the dick. The song's called "Shooting a Bull in the Dick" or something.
Okay.
At the moment. It's a working title. He's not thought of anything better yet. The working title is "Shooting a Bull in the Dick." He's writing a song, basically.
And I'm sitting just outside the firelight, looking in the two directions that are open.
Okay.
If I'm on watch, I'm on watch.
Right. That's
Not
fair.
writing a song.
Well,
But I know
So-
he's traumatized by the guitars, so I won't be harsh to him.
Just wait till I get
Let's
hold of some
have you
drugs.
both make a notice test for me.
Okay.
Intelligence, or no? Let's do wisdom. This is wisdom.
Notice wisdom. Alright, yeah. 9. 10 or 10.
Nicely done. So as you're sitting there, perhaps in between, or in a dead bit of wind where you're not kind of being overpowered by this howl, you both clearly hear coming from around the corner of the whatever fallen down wall that is there. And I imagine that Jacob and Abigail are probably closer to the wall, like behind the two of you as you're kind of facing out. But you hear kind of coming from around the corner somebody like, "Oh,
A voice.
Sorry, what did we hear?
you hear a voice kind of breathy whispering, "Hey, over here. Over here."
I'll just nudge Tim as soon as I hear this.
I will reach out and nudge the two who are asleep and point my crossbow towards that corner.
So they're quite groggy, but, assuming nothing horrible happens, they'll be able to return to sleep. But yeah, you wake up Abigail and Jacob. Fallout is alert, and you
I'm-
do notice that Fallout's ears are up and pointed kind of in that direction, but he is growling.
I'm getting my gun ready.
Yep.
I am getting my gun ready.
Yeah, I grabbed my shotgun.
Intruders. I whisper to them.
What are we gonna do, Tim? Shaking nervously, holding I got a rifle. Never killed a man before, a person.
I'm going to move along the wall that's not the one the voice came from. So if it's an L and it's come from one end of the L, I'm going to the other end of the L so I can look around that corner.
Okay. What's everybody else doing? Imagine like an L. I'll have a map for you. We're not going to actually do this encounter right now. I'm just getting it set up. I'll have a map for you next time. But imagine an L. Your camp is kind of right in the middle of it.
Mm-hmm.
You've heard a voice around this direction. Tim has kind of gone around the other ruined wall to take a look. What are the rest of you doing?
I'm just standing there with my rifle, watching both ends, watching where Tim went.
Back to the fire. Okay.
Back
Yep.
to the fire, yeah.
Jacob is he's holding his bow in one hand and his spear in the other, just not quite sure what to do. And Abigail?
She's staying where she is, but she's gone into that kneeling position and has
Okay.
shotgun pointed in the direction of the sound.
Okay. So Tim, when you look around the opposite corner, you can see a few figures standing in the darkness, and with the corner kind of obscuring the fire as your night vision kind of sharpens a bit, although the moon is pretty dark tonight. It's getting closer to full, or to a new moon. You get the sense that they're people, and again you hear that over here, come on.
Does that sound as though it's addressed to that group of people, or does it sound like it's addressed to us? In other words, which direction is the voice being thrown?
It's a trap.
It's being thrown towards you.
It's a trap.
So,
You forgot about your push to talk.
sorry, I'm being an engineer and using my hands to demonstrate. Okay, so we've got an L.
Uh-huh.
The voice comes from the top left-hand corner. I've
Yep.
gone to the top right-hand corner.
Uh-huh.
And are you saying I've looked around the top right-hand corner, or I'm looking across at the left-hand
You're kind of
corner,
looking
which
across, and you
which is what
you
Alex-
can see
yeah.
them. Yeah.
Okay. Who's there? I will say.
So the moment you say who's there, you hear a growl, a snarl, and one of the figures moves closer to you. In fact, it rushes towards you out of the dark.
Fair enough.
And you
release-
see...
I will release
Uh,
the crossbow.
Yep, and that's fine. And we'll do that. We'll start next session with that probably. But as this thing runs towards you, you get a sense of a human body. They look to be wearing some kind of robe or covering. But as it rushes towards you, its hood gets pushed back, and you see this. And I think that's... Oh, I gotta show it to you. There you go. And I think that's where we'll end for the day.
Oh. Yeah.
Oh, great.
Very nice. Excellent place to leave the session. Perfect cliffhanger, Brian. Nicely done. Nicely
Nice
done.
one.
Wow. Look at this pretty boy. Isn't he a handsome lad, folks? Look at that, viewers. What a handsome fella he is. Oh my days. Stay
Well,
tuned.
the party back in the corner of the L sees that figure rushing across the width of the L towards the other corner.
And you're firing across bullets.
Oh no, maybe I described that wrong. So the creatures are not actually in the light. So the way I imagined it is, well, here, let me show you on a map real quick. I'm gonna make a map for this, but let's just use this because it's a fairly open area. Okay, so imagine. I'm just gonna draw it. So imagine this is your L. Nope, let's get. Nope, I don't like that.
Why not use the top left-hand corner? Top left-hand corner is the internal part of the L.
Yeah, that works. Okay, so that's the internal part of the L.
So that's
I
where
can't
the
draw.
party is.
I can't draw outside of that. That's the problem.
I can't
so
draw here. Okay,
here's the
bring
L. Here's the fire. You heard the voices from over here. Tim went this way and saw figures.
Sorry, Tim went to that corner, and then looked, and then tried looking across. If he couldn't see anything around the other corner, then I think he would go to the other corner rather than going around the back, because he would want to stay in view of the party. If he went
I got
off,
that. So
going round that
so
way.
I'd have gone.
No. This is fine.
Yeah.
So if you stood here and looked in that direction, you still would have seen some figures. And
Right.
upon saying who's there, one of them rushes at you.
Fair enough. In that
Make
case,
sense?
Yes, that makes sense.
Damn. Well, damn, Daniel. That's going to be fun in 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, well, thank you very much, Brian, for that.
Thank you, Brian.
Traumatic session. Thanks for the
Yeah,
PTSD.
thank you.
Appreciate it. And,
Well, before you go,
oh yeah, we've got to
let's
do our
take care of
XP.
the stuff that we need to take care of.
Yeah.
So, experience. You all played, so that's 1 point of experience. You investigated a POI, makeshift farm. That's 1 point of experience. You defeated a dangerous foe, the bull, and technically the mother, although she wasn't quite dangerous, but we'll count that. So that's 1 point of experience. You didn't finish scouting this particular hex, though. So you don't get that experience yet. You're in the middle of scouting this hex. So you get 3 points of experience.
Nice. Let's see if that levels me up.
Thank you.
Leveled up.
No, I didn't level up. I'm still 3.
Abigail
I
did?
made it. Yeah, I made it to 5. Just.
Nice.
Okay. So, for Abigail then, let's just run down the list really quick. First, you're going to need your new hit point total.
Mm-hmm. That's 3 times.
You roll 4d6, I think.
So,
No.
well, he's level 5 now.
5d6.
And
But you got plus
he
2.
5d6
is
plus 15.
Mm-hmm.
hard to kill, which is plus 2,
Per
plus
level.
And my constitution plus
Constitution
1.
1
Plus 3 per
times
level.
5. Yeah, so 5d6 plus 15
Nice.
for hit points. See if you can get better than your current max. You did 33.
That is.
Nice.
That's a whole
It's
chunk of
beefy.
hit points.
That's actually more than the bull had.
Wow. That's a chunk of hit points.
Abigail is now your bull.
Should we do...
Yes. Okay, so we've got that fixed. The sheet takes care of a lot of stuff that we don't need to worry about. Saving throws and all that stuff are taken care of. So at level 5, you get a new focus. And I believe you also get your last edge. So if you want to look through them now, cool. If you want to wait and go over it later, we don't necessarily have to do that on stream, but you get a focus and an edge
Yeah,
at
we'll-
level 5.
We'll finish up the video. Brian could do that off stream, I think.
Yeah, we can
I'll-
do that off stream.
yeah.
That's fine.
I'll sign us out just now then, boys, unless there's anything else. We good to wrap up?
No, I'm good to go.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Well, thank you very much for the session, Brian. It was amazing, as ever. Fantastic body horror, yet again. And Brian and David, thank you very much for playing. Gentlemen, you were fantastic.
Yeah.
See you in 2 weeks for the next one.
See you in 2 weeks.
And to the viewers, thank you very much for watching. As always, we love you. We hope you're enjoying the show. Good night. Peace. Peace. Peace.
Good night.
Good night.